What you're about to see is the recording of a 2-hour-long conversation, which at the time I thought was a private conversation, but was actually getting recorded unbeknownst to me. Now, clips from this conversation are often taken out of context and used in various hit pieces against me to make it sound like I'm saying things much worse than I am. So I've decided to put up this entire recording in full with no cuts so that anyone who wants can go and listen to the sections that they have any problem with the full context, and make up their own mind as to whether they think what I said was problematic or not. To give a little bit more context as to what actually is going on in this video, basically, if you watch my main channel, Matt vs. Japan, you'll see that I often do interviews with successful language learners. And that was originally what this was. There was someone named Doth who had learned Japanese very quickly, and so I interviewed Doth as a main video on my channel, although for obvious reasons, that video ended up never getting posted. After we finished recording the interview, we turned off the cameras and continued to just talk casually from one person to another. And this is something that happens a lot when you film collab videos or interviews with people, right? After you talk to them for an hour, you start to just have a normal conversation. Now, at the time, Doth was willing to show his face and his voice and also what school he went to and other personal information openly on the internet. So I figured he was pretty trustworthy. So when he showed a lot of interest in my life as an influential creator in the Japanese learning community, I was happy to openly and honestly share with him things that normally I probably wouldn't have put on the internet, or maybe would have chosen my words a little bit more carefully if I was going to put it on the internet. But little did I know that I had totally misread Doth, and he was actually a member of a private Discord community that basically makes a hobby out of memeing me and trolling me and just harassing me in general. And so I didn't know it at the time, but Doth was actually streaming the entire interview and the entire subsequent conversation to this server of people that basically just harassed me as a hobby. And someone in that server recorded it. That recording got sent around, and that's how this came to be. So without any further ado, here you go.
Oh yeah, true. That is harsh. Also, I don't want to seem like moshiwakenai, but Matt, have you ever thought of getting into like professional Japanese, as in like translation or interpretation? I think you would do really good in that. But
Yeah, I've thought about it, and maybe I will one day. I mean, maybe I guess I'm more interested in interpretation than translation. Because for me, I mean, I'm in general, I'm the kind of person I would rather like write my own thing than like translate someone else's thing.
mm,
But
true, true, true. Yeah, it must be really hard because like your livelihood is pretty much, refold, I guess, and the whole Patreon studying Japanese. Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of other things I could do, but it just feels like I mean,
I mean, if it's
this just
hard to
feels
talk
really
about,
hateful.
oh yeah.
No, it's fine. I mean, I mean, mostly it's just really annoying and it just feels really hateful. Just feels like why, like, out of all the things you could do with your time, you could improve the world, you could learn to play guitar, why would you spend your time trying to just hurt me? I don't understand it. It's mostly just confusing and frustrating and sad.
Yeah. Do you think this has to do with also like a superiority complex a lot of people have in the Japanese learning community? Like, I have to be better than you, or like I'm the best in Japanese. And so like they want to like bring you
think
down.
so. I mean, well, I think there's definitely like I think it's very interesting why they like to hate on me so much, because there's lots of other people who they don't hate on.
Oh
Like
yeah?
like they don't hate on Dogen.
Yep.
They don't hate on like and then there's some people they kind of hate on, but like if like there's so many Japanese figures in the community. Like people to talk about how to learn Japanese, like George from Japanese from Zero, or Amo Amano Misa, or whatever her name is,
Yeah.
or like Joey the Anime Man, or like whatever. But they almost never talk to those people, and I think the reason that they never make fun of those people, or at least not nearly as much as they make fun of me. And I think it's because I'm this perfect distance between I'm like very close to them, but I'm also not them, in a way, right?
Ah, true.
It's like if they're too different, then it's like, oh yeah, who cares? That's just some blue pilled whatever. But I'm like very close to them, And I think there's also some aspect of how like they feel like I used to be like them and then I like changed. Because if you watch my old video, I was like way more elitist and I liked anime way more. I was like more of an like the otaku culture, and now I kind of like disown that. And so I feel like they feel like I mean I feel like all those people in that like most of the people in the DJT community, I feel like a lot of them are not very popular people in their real lives probably. I mean most people
That,
who
that,
decide that they who get into anime hardcore and they decide that they want to make their life goal to get really good at Japanese, they're probably people who are not that popular in real life. I mean I was the same way, I'm no
mm,
exception. That's just kind of the reality.
yeah, yeah.
Not of course not everyone. You don't really sound like this, but I know a lot of them, so I think they're already it's like a certain personality type, and they're where and then yeah, so they feel like, oh, I used to be like them, and then I like changed, and now I'm like trying to be mainstream or whatever, or something like that.
True, true.
I don't know.
Yeah, actually, when you say that, I kind of think about it, and it does make a lot of sense. Like for Joey, I think he's too far. One thing because he's a hafu and he doesn't really talk about studying Japanese, and also with Dogen, I think he isn't really into like communities. He doesn't really delve into that too much, and so he's kind of like a distant figure who makes funny videos, and like you can't really criticize him because like most of the time it's already like pre-recorded, scripted. And with you, I think a lot of people kind of just know you more. May that be like as a figure or like even maybe privately. And so yeah, there is that. And also DJT, a lot of people, to be honest, I guess are neats, if you like put it very simply. They just put all the time to Japanese, which also kind of what makes them so good in Japanese. But on the other flip side, I think that can also lead to toxicity, depending. So
Yeah, I think I'm like too. They like they like smell that I like have a similar vibe to them,
mm,
yet I'm not embracing them. I'm like trying to trying to break out of that. So they want to like drag me down. It's kind of what it feels like. Plus, at this point, I think also like I've like reacted to it too much.
oh
Like
yeah,
they know that I think they know that I've like every once in a while I've like gone into the DJT server and I've like talked to them. So they like if I would have just ignored it completely from the beginning, perhaps they would have just gotten bored and moved on and forgot about it. But I've like reacted too many times, so now there's like always the hope in the back of their mind that they're gonna like get a fuck with me or something.
yeah. Wait, how much of it do you actually think is just pure banter, and how much is like pure hatred, if you were to put it that way?
I mean, I'm sure in reality it's very little of it is like pure hatred. Um, I mean, I think a lot of it is since it's become a thing in the community that it's fun to make fun of me. So a lot of them are probably making fun of me solely to like receive approval from other people in the community. So their true goal is not to hate on me. Their true goal is to get approval from other people in the community, and making some meme about me is just a tool for achieving that means.
True, true. Hmm.
Like the Anacreon thing, I think that there is hatred there. I think that like crosses a line where it's like if you're gonna put that, it's like if you're just whatever you post on 4chan, it's like that's whatever. It gets lost in the sea of random crap on 4chan. No normal person's gonna find anything on 4chan. If you like go and compile a whole video and post it on YouTube, I think that is like crossing a line in my eyes. That's what normal people see that stuff. It's kind of like you can go and do your like hateful 4chan bullshit as long as you just keep it on 4chan. Then you can just stay in there and it doesn't like have outside negative effects on all those people who you hate on.
True, true. Yeah, once it gets into YouTube, it's very dangerous territory, I think. Mm.
Yeah. Because I guess for me, even like a lot of the memes are just playful, I guess.
Yeah,
But it's
true.
still like when I see them, it just makes me feel like they're not viewing me as a person. Like just like the vibe that I get, like they don't view me as like a real person.
Not that's kind of interesting, like not viewing you as a real person. So like, oh, so just for some background, I was talking with Miso from Refold a bit. I'm sure
Hmm.
you know him, right? And
Yeah,
yeah, we
yeah.
had a lot of fun. Like he asked me something about like my Japanese study, and also he kind of invited me onto this radio he has, Japanese learning or something. And he also commented about that you don't really you find it really hard to engage with people because a lot of people just kind of see you as a public figure, but not really as like a person with like general like genuine interests, like a personality. And I was just kind of curious what you thought about that. Like, is it really hard to like find people you can just really engage with, like one to one?
I mean, well, it's not because, well, overall, I hate that that happens,
Mm,
and it basically makes me just feel like it's impossible for me to really become friends with anyone in the community. That's what I feel like, and so I have tons of friends from people outside the community,
mm,
because people outside the Japanese learning community, they don't care that I'm at Versus Japan. They don't assign any significance to that. So I am just a normal person to them. So all my real friends are people who are like, they don't know me as Matt versus Japan. They know me as just Matt,
mm.
or they're another creator. Because if they're another, I'm also have become friends with a lot of other creators like Shama or whatever. Because he's like in the same position as me, so it like gets canceled out. But it kind of feels like it's literally impossible for me to actually become friends with the community, because part of me always wonders, like, are they really my friend, or are they just talking to me because they think I'm at versus Japan, and if I say something dumb, they'll like screenshot it and put it on Facebook?
That is
I mean,
true.
Miso is an exception
Yeah.
because I've been friends with him for a long time, but he's like one of the very few people who I like truly trust in the community.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, he was a really good guy, swell guy, I think. Do you think this also happens with like your Patreons? Because I heard that you also like have chats with Patreons. Do you think that you can never really get like a friendship type of relationship with any of them, mainly because like they're supporting you financially?
Um, no, there actually has been some people who I became friends with that I initially met through Patreon,
Right.
but there's like, but I mean, the other thing is that it's not that it can't happen, but it's unlikely to happen because it's like an inherent like teacher student relationship almost, right?
Mm.
It's like they're coming to me as an authority and wanting to ask for my help. And so that naturally puts me in like an authoritative position. And so we just, the nature of the relationship, it's kind of like unlikely for it to become um, something else. And a lot of times the people who are patrons, they also don't view me as a person in a
Ooh.
different way,
In a different
where
way?
they view me as what, yeah, in a different type of way, where they're viewing me as like almost like a god of Japanese who like
Okay.
has like infinite knowledge about language learning.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can feel that that like, it's like, yeah, I know a lot about language learning. I could probably help you out, but of course my knowledge is limited, and in my point of view, I know how much I don't know. So I don't feel like I'm like some all-knowing thing, like person or whatever, but I kind of have to play it. It's not in my interest to try to convince them that I'm not as like wise as they think I am, because it's beneficial for me.
True. I mean,
Monet-
yeah, yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, like they don't even know the the range to like your ability, right? And like if even if you say that you don't know something, they don't even know that thing in particular. So it kind of I don't not that it has no meaning, but like you know how like people they can't understand like people who are like really above them.
yeah,
I don't know if that
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
But I
But
mean, it's still in my interest to kind of like play to that, like they're projecting onto me that
right,
I'm like some god, and it's in my interest to just play and
play with
pretend that
that.
I am,
Uh-huh.
and it's like a mutual, it's like mutually beneficial. It's like they get, to them, they have this great experience because they feel like they're interacting with a god, and then I get the benefit of they keep wanting to pay me money, so it's like works out.
True. But like have you ever like crumbled from that expectation, or like felt the pressure? Because I'm sure like it would be, you know, you kind of have to have like this perfect persona then. At least in front of patrons in that case.
I mean, there's definitely been times where I wish I could just be like more honest,
Yeah.
but in my mind, there's the boundary between the patrons and between the haters is very thin, because I
Oh,
know
okay.
that the 4chan people like subscribe to my Patreon to look for more shit that they can cite out of context and use against me. So
Wow.
I don't feel like there's anywhere on the internet I can say something and it will be safe. I always have in my mind, am I okay with some hater hearing this? Because I'm sure they're gonna go and find it.
I don't know, man. If I was in that position, I would be anxious, a bit scared, because like maybe a bit schizophrenic, because like having to think everything you say, for me, I can't really stay calm in that kind of, position. I don't
Well, I
know.
mean, I don't either. That's why I like. There's a bunch of things. Like basically, I've gone into the DJT server a couple times and like talked with them,
Uh,
and every
mm,
single time that was a huge mistake. And there was a bunch of stuff I said that in there that they took that like they recorded and now is like regularly used in memes. And so those were all times where I snapped. Like normally I know it's best to ignore them.
right.
Like every time you try to like talk like every time you poke at it, it just gets worse because then that tells them, oh, Matt actually looks at all this shit. Okay, cool. Now let's make even more memes because now I know it actually bothers him, right? Uh, so those were all times where I did just snap because I like couldn't keep ignoring it, and I regret it every
Right,
time.
right. Oh yeah, you did join DJT like one time. I think it was with an alt Nihongo boss or something.
I've joined it a couple times, sometimes as an alt, sometimes with my original account,
Oh
not
yeah,
as an alt.
nice, nice. Yeah. Oh, I don't know, man. Cause for me at least in DJD, I don't. I actually like proactively post my mistakes. Like, oh my god, I made a dick and I mistake. Look at this, guys. Cause I don't like having that expectation, to be honest. I just want to have fun with Japanese, right? I want to learn kanji. I want to have fun. I want to maybe take the kanken. And like, if I do get like good results, that's like fun, right? That's nice to have. I can maybe be a bit proud of it, but I don't want to have people expect me to like be perfect or like to always improve as fast as I can, especially because I have like university studies and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean it's definitely annoying, but I mean the thing is I have to be an authority for like my position to work
mm,
because like if you I mean ultimately the 4chan the when you look at the larger community, right? Like I have almost or I have over 80,000 subscribers now.
right,
The whole DJT community is probably like 100 people and like all the
at best, yeah.
and, yeah, and if you even if you take the wider Japanese community including like the people who are very active in Refold and active in the Moe way and everything, it's probably like less than 1,000 people total. So like it's very small and very limited, and also those are the people, those 1,000 people are the people who are like the least likely to actually like want to pay for something to me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so really when I'm thinking about my career it doesn't even really make sense to consider those people. I mean also those people tend to be self-sufficient anyway, so they don't really need, they don't really need that much like how to learn a language content. But there's a lot of other people in like the mainstream, I mean, not the full mainstream, but closer to the mainstream end where like they will like want to do consultations with me or just like follow want to subscribe to my Patreon and watch my exclusive content. And so like I for that stuff to work, I have to be an authority, right? Like who's
Mm,
going to listen to some random guy who's like okay at Japanese? The whole reason why people care is because I have this reputation for being like amazing at Japanese.
mm,
So it's like completely crucial for it, especially because like immersion learning is still like not mainstream, right? A lot of people
right.
they don't, it's counterintuitive, it doesn't make sense. So the whole idea is like I'm trying to sell this idea that doesn't make sense to them. And so the one thing I have going for me is like, oh, but I'm really really good. So it's like, okay, well it sounds weird, but maybe it actually works because apparently he's really good, right? So I do need like there's a lot of times where I wish I didn't have to, I could be like you and I could just be like, yep, here's where I'm at, here's my weaknesses, here's how I want to improve. But it's like just doesn't work. Like if I
Yeah.
did that, no one, the whole point is that everyone thinks I'm like amazing at Japanese. I mean, I am really good at Japanese, but I mean, I know most people think I'm better than I really am. But that's kind of by design because it's in my interest to make it seem like I'm as good as possible.
True, true. That is, yeah. Because if you think about it, I think the DJT people who like kind of meme on you, they're kind of like counterintuitively hurting the community, because you present immersion as a really good way to study Japanese, and then we can get more immersion learners. We can get more people to enjoy VNs, LNs. But I don't know, because that is kind of hard now that I think about it.
Well, that's what I always feel. I'm like, dude, almost everything I do is free. I have all these free videos. I have all these, all the whole Refold site is free, and I bet a lot of those people on DJT, they discovered immersion learning through my content. So if it wasn't for me, they would still be doing Genki and shit like that.
Right.
Like a significant portion of them. And so why are you hating on me? It's like if I was like Katsumoto and I was selling some $1,000 course or something, then I would get it. But it really but I think the thing is for them, I think all humans they have this is actually my main theory of the
Mhm.
psychology of people on DJT.
Ooh.
I think people have a desire to feel, yeah, like you said, to feel superior and to feel special. And so DJT people identify as like, oh, we're the most hardcore, the most edgy, the
Right.
most red pilled, everyone else is soft and dumb and they don't get it and they're retarded. And so for me, I'm like the biggest threat to their identity. It's like Joey the Anime Man or like Dogen or Japanese from Zero. It's like they're not. It's easy to convince. It's easy for them to convince themselves. Well, that's just some blue pilled cuck. Who cares what they think?
Mhm.
We're way better than them, right? But I'm like the most dangerous figure because I am actually good at Japanese.
Right.
My philosophy is like 99% the same as their philosophy. And I'm like partially mainstream and like, have a lot of general appeal. So it's like, oh, well, Matt, if Matt is the same as us, we're not special, right? So they
Right. Right.
need to find some way to shove me down so they can still believe that it's like, oh, I'm not like him. He's dumb. He's a loser. He made all these mistakes. And like that's the way that they can continue to feel that they're special.
Right. True. True. Yeah. Actually, because like when I did make the Reddit post, that got a lot of traction and people started to join DJT. But like a lot of at least the old members, they're really anti against it because they don't want new facts to join, especially people who are like in general Dicky 9. Because like when you start at N4, it's really hard to like push towards N1 if you're not actually going to persevere through like the native media. Like a lot of people just drop it there. And yeah, it is kind of a hard topic because I would like more people to enjoy them, to enjoy the media, but
Well, see,
also
then you're fundamentally different. They're fundamentally they don't want more people to enjoy Japanese being get good at Japanese. Fundamentally, they want to believe they're special. I don't know if they'll admit that. I don't even know if they're conscious of that. But when I interact with them, that's the vibe that I get. Is that's their number one priority is to be
wait,
special.
is that like particularly like a few people there, or is it like the hive mind kind of mentality? You think?
I feel like that's the hive mind of DJT.
Okay, okay. Interesting, interesting. I
But I
mean,
also think it's like, I
yeah,
mean, I know that
yeah,
like sometimes I can see on DJT like if I've gone in with an alt and I see people hang out in the voice chat, I know that they're not always like that, and that to each other,
yeah.
then they will actually be friends and have more wholesome interactions with each other.
True, true.
But it's like when they feel like it's a lot like if you think like hunter gatherer tribes, it's like they have it's all this us versus them mentality.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you're hanging out and it's just us, then everyone's going to be cool. But as
Mm,
soon as it comes to the us versus them, then they become completely brutal.
true. Yeah, actually, on that topic, in DJT, I've had like a lot of toxic interactions, to be honest. Like, I thought that I was like a good boy there, I would just post things for fun, right? But people would still like comment about me when I do stuff like wrong in Japanese. And then, like, in DJT, there's like just a separate group, a more specialized group, I would say, of like more kind of elite individuals, but they're also really nice guys in real life. And so we just call it DJT V2. And I'm not sure if you're interested, but I think that group holds like the best people in DJT, like skill wise, but also like mentality and like personality wise. Because we always just have fun in like chat. We talk sometimes about Japanese, sometimes just random banter, sometimes even play games. And I think just like because in DJT it's just overcrowded by just Dickinized N4s and
Yeah,
N3s now, so it's kind of hard.
but it's all the same server, right?
No, it's a different server, completely different server. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like it's a new private server where like one of the I guess public figures in DJT kind of hated the new DJT now and just thought we should just make a private server where like, all of our like really cool friends can join and we can just have fun. Maybe not in Japanese, but like just as a smaller community. I think also is really nice to have.
Is that? And I'm guessing it's like invite only.
Yeah, it is invite only. So like you gotta have to get approval. Like somebody knows
Yeah.
you in real person, or like knows that you're a really good guy, and then you can get in, kind of.
Is
Yeah.
Quizmaster in there?
No,
Oh
we
really?
don't want him in here actually. I think that's kind
Oh,
of general
interesting.
consensus. Yeah.
So I was gonna say I can't be in there if he's gonna be in there because he's already like tried to sabotage me too many times.
Oh, do you have like a really just hate relationship with him with QQN?
No,
No.
I not at all. I mean, like for me, I think he's like a good guy, but he's like too gone in the 4chan
Okay.
mentality. Like because like I get the sense to him that he's like somewhere deep in his mind, he's like pledged allegiance to 4chan and DJT,
Yeah.
and he like that blocks us from having an actual relationship because like there's been times where we like had interesting conversations and it was pretty wholesome, but then still like he wakes up one day and then realizes, oh shit, I could take some of the shit that Matt said out of context and post it on 4chan, and then he'll go and do that. So it just he's just shown to me I can never actually trust him because at the end of the day he'll always go against me
Oh, that's
if
kind of
I give him that
sad.
opportunity.
But like, if he were to like just step out of like the 4chan community, just hypothetically, do you think you could actually be good friends with him on a person-to-person level?
I mean, I think it could have been like at this point
Mm.
it's hard to erase the history that is there, you know. I
Yeah.
think if we had I think if I wasn't Matt vs Japan and I
Yeah.
was just some guy who was in DJT, I think we could have been good friends. Yeah. I think the fact that I am DJT, that I am Matt vs Japan, and that Matt vs Japan has become this like target for DJT has precluded the possibility of us being friends because now he always is like he can't help himself, but like if I give him some kind of bait that he
Yeah.
can use to like make a meme or like share with his community, then he can't help himself but do that, you know.
True. True. Oh, that's so sad. Because maybe you guys could have been like really good friends. I think.
I do think it's sad as well because like I said, when I was learning Japanese I never really had a community because
Yeah.
there weren't communities like this. And the thing that's almost one of the saddest things is when I have gone on DJT and I see them, I see this is the type of community that I would have fit in really well back when
Ah.
I was learning Japanese, right? Because I had
Right.
the
Right.
same. I was really hardcore. I wanted to get as good as possible. I really was into anime and visual novels and light novels, and it just it's just not possible because I'm at Risk Japan. So I do think it's really sad.
Uh, if there was a community where like you could just be yourself, right? Like, what would you think about that? Like, what would be the specification for like that type of like small community or group?
I mean, for me now, I just feel like
Is it not
I
possible?
couldn't be Matt vs Japan. I feel like, or I guess, well, I guess there are actually a couple people like Miso
Mm.
who I actually like trust, and we are friends.
Yeah.
But well, I guess the thing is, even Miso, to a certain extent, I know he still views me as an authority,
Okay.
which it's kind of like senpai kohai type of
Ah.
relationship,
Yeah.
and so that also is like makes it a little different
Or can you not
than
like
being
talk
like,
normally with him? Like just.
no, I can, but like if we're gonna talk about Japanese in particular, then it's like not really like we're on
Level.
equal footing, you know.
So do you think you have to have somebody with like equal footing with you, like in terms of the Japanese ability to like be able to talk with them, normally?
I mean, to talk about language learning, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Actually, I actually made a friend recently who was like really good at Japanese,
Mm.
and so we can like for a while, like for me, I don't like whenever I'd see a learning community, they'd be talking about how to learn Japanese or like talking about Japanese
Yeah.
specifically, or but for me, it's like that stuff. The level of the conversation was so below
Low.
like where I'm at that it just felt like I can't even engage. You know, it's just
Mm.
like I'm so beyond that. I can't like it's not interest. And also being Matt vs Japan, I've had to talk about certain things so many times
Mm.
where it almost just
Is this?
it feels like that's not me. That's Matt vs Japan.
Ah.
So it would like yeah, we're kind of require them being like similar to where I am
Mm.
in a way. I think the other thing is that I'm like not I still watch anime and I still
Oh, you
kind
do?
of into it, but I'm yeah, to to a degree, but I'm like more into other things in Japanese culture.
For
Like
example, like could you?
yeah, like for example, my girlfriend's Japanese, and
Mm.
so like I like to watch like things that like for example, like I watch more Japanese drama, even if it's not that good, because sometimes in real life people they actually most Japanese people there's a lot more Japanese people who watch drama rather than um
Really? I
anime,
heard
you
that
know. But
Japanese drama are actually not they're pretty bad. Like, what's your
Yeah, most of them are pretty bad. Yeah.
Mm.
But here's a better example. Like I watch Japanese YouTube kind of frequently, and there's a lot of like there's kind of a few big Japanese YouTubers who are always like interacting with each other, and it's kind of entertaining to like follow that kind of nagare of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
who's like interacting with who right now, and like who's fighting with who and all that stuff. And that's way bigger than anime like in Japan, you know,
Mm.
because it's actually recent. Like for a while, the Geinokai,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Japanese TV and the Japanese celebrities, that was
The big hit.
like
Mm.
every Japanese person knew about that, and they would talk about that. That would be like the what you would talk about if you needed some like bullshit conversation on the elevator or whatever. But now TV is slowly starting to die, and Japanese YouTube is getting like a lot more dominant in Japanese society.
Mm.
So I kind of like follow that more, and there's an aspect of it of like having the knowledge about what is going on. It's kind of like relevant to Japanese people
But do you think
and
that's
stuff like
yeah?
that. So
Oh, sorry.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. You were saying?
Well, just so that also when I see the Japanese living communities, they seem to be like so heavily biased towards like the otaku media.
Mm.
That also is like another thing that feels like I mean, the mindset is very like in my mind. I actually heard one of the DJ people had some theory of like there's two Japanese cultures. There's
Yeah.
like the mainstream Japanese culture, and then there's like the otaku culture,
Mm.
and they're like almost like independent worlds in a way. Of course, there's certain overlap, but I think for me, I'm not that invested in the anime world anymore. I'm much more because I think now I'm like I might go and live in Japan one day, and I'm more interested in like what the stuff that's going to be relevant to my real life when I go and live in Japan. You know.
True, true. Well, I mean, in terms of, like language ability, would you say like the two spheres are like very different?
Well, the other thing is like right now, I feel like the DJT community is very biased towards comprehension, and they don't really care
Okay.
about speaking that much.
That
Whereas
that
like
is that, yeah.
for me right now, like I mean, I could still improve my comprehension in various ways, but that's not the most like for me. The most relevant thing is getting better at speaking,
Mm.
mainly, and like getting better at pitch accent and stuff like that.
True, true, true. Yeah. But do you think that I don't know, because like in Refold, I did join a bit, and I saw like the pitch accent channel is pretty active. But would you say that some people have a very high tendency to like focus too much on pitch accent compared to actual comprehension?
Probably. I mean,
Probably.
honestly, I don't spend that much time in the Refold server
Okay.
because
Yeah.
for basically for the same reasons that I don't spend time in any of the other servers. So, but probably. Although, well, for me, pitch accent is still like the main thing that I would say like uh is like the main problem with my Japanese. Like I know I still can't speak with perfect pitch accent, and it's
Mm.
so hard to do so. So that is like for me that's like the biggest thing that I want to improve in my Japanese still.
Even though like most
But
people
yeah,
can't really hear it or don't bother with it. Like you said that most of your viewers don't really understand Japanese.
well, I don't. I mean, I don't want to improve for the sake of my viewers. I just want to
Mm.
improve for me, just for like, so that I can go and live in Japan and like
Oh,
be as
nice.
good as possible.
Nice, nice.
Like my girlfriend's Japanese. We only speak in Japanese. I want to just be,
That
be
is good.
better at speaking Japanese.
Also, you are like actually planning to stay in Japan then, like permanent residency?
Right now, yeah, I'm thinking. Well, not maybe not permanently, but at least a long time.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, cool, cool.
So,
Mm.
so yeah, I guess I'm. That's like my main thing is I want to be like, because I speak Japanese like most days now because my girlfriend's Japanese. We only talk in Japanese, so it's very clear how like my English is still so much better than my Japanese,
Yeah.
and I really wish my Japanese was especially like if I'm going to try to like explain some complicated abstract concept, like my Japanese is so much worse than my English,
Yeah.
so that's why I feel like I want to improve the most. But comprehension, like my comprehension is still like so far ahead of my speaking, where like yeah, maybe one day I want to even get even better at comprehension, but I'm already at the point where I can understand like almost everything, like no issue.
That's amazing. Yeah. Cool, cool,
And that's why I
cool.
see the DJC community. They're like trying to learn how to read super obscure kanji that Japanese people can't read, and it's like, dude, your priorities are out of whack. Like that's you try to get good at like actually speaking Japanese. That's way more
Right.
relevant, you know.
Yeah, true, true. But if you think about it, do you think that actually the DJT people would actually want to live in Japan, talk with Japanese people? Because I know like at least QM, he has no interest at all with speaking to Japanese people or live in Japan.
Well, oh yeah, I'm sure a lot of them a lot of them don't. And but I mean, it just kind of calls into the question of like, what's the point of any of this? What's the like at a certain point, like if you don't care about living in Japan and you're just gonna live it and you don't care about speaking Japanese, yet you still have your identity revolve around being as good as possible. It's like that's no
It's kinda
different than trying to be like the best World of Warcraft player. Like literally, it's completely meaningless. It's just you've just arbitrarily chose something that has no real world significance and decided that that's important to you.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, at least in your Refold community, how many do you think will actually like make it to actually learn Japanese the way it is?
You mean like reach basic fluency?
I guess so, yeah. Maybe percent-wise, or
Maybe 10%? I
10?
don't know.
Is that a bit low? I don't know, because do you think so?
I mean, it's all relative, right? Like if you were going to think what percentage of people who buy Genki 1
Mm.
on Amazon.com are going to reach basic fluency, it's probably 0.0001%.
Right, right. True, true.
So it's all relative, right? I mean, just the reality is that you could take any skill and say what percentage of the people who start are going to get good. It's going to be extremely low.
Mhm.
The higher the skill level, the fewer people there are there because more and more people drop out.
That's true.
So I think that's just part of the reality is that the number of people who think they want to learn Japanese is always going to be higher than the number of people willing to put in all the work it takes to actually learn Japanese.
Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, true, true. I mean, like in DJT at least, like when I posted the Reddit post and like 1,000 people came into the server, only like a fraction actually passed the N4 test. So that kind of,
Well, learn Japanese, I'd say, is
is
like
really low
significantly
level.
lower quality than the Refold server.
Yeah.
But I mean, the other thing is like I said, the Refold server actually is like I don't play a big role in the Refold server. Like it's modded by Brett,
Yeah.
and he seems to be doing a good job. But like I don't spend a lot of time in there because like from my point of view, I guess I would be interested. Like if there was some community of people who were like also as good, like they also were like a similar level of Japanese as me. They still wanted to get better, and they still were kind of like interested in the same things about Japanese, about like more mainstream Japanese
Stuff.
culture rather than just the otaku culture. And they didn't think that I was special because I was Matt vs Japan. Then I would be interested in hanging out with them. But the Refold server is not close to that, obviously. So for me, the Refold server, when I'm in the Refold server, I'm just an authority, right? I'm just like the teacher. I'm not like a equal partner to like I'm like not an equal member of the community, and so it just kind of feels like I don't really get anything out of it. I give, but I don't. There's nothing for me to take, and so I'm not naturally like motivated to go there.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty sad. You did mention that you came across somebody who's really good in Japanese, currently learning. Like, could you mind mentioning him? I might know him.
He's not in any community at all.
Oh, okay.
He's another content creator.
Oh, okay, okay. I guess that's fine then.
But yeah, his you probably haven't heard of him. He used to have a YouTube channel a long time ago, but he doesn't really post anymore.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is there's like almost no videos of him speaking Japanese, so I assumed that he actually sucked.
Okay.
But then I actually hung out with him in real life.
And he's good.
Like he was like better than me overall.
Oh,
but
wow.
he's like the opposite of me. He's like like pretty bad at reading. I mean, he can read just fine, but that's like his biggest weakness. Like he reached basic fluency in speaking and listening before learning how to read. Like before he even learned hiragana. He was like learning through Omaji. Yeah, but he just watched like a shit ton anime and got good that way.
Yeah.
And so speaking, he's like way better than me. Like his pitch accent's better than me. And he can speak way more naturally
But he's
than
not
me.
like a half or anything.
No, yeah, he's not. He started learning when he was 15.
And
just
he's
like me.
20 now or something?
He's like in his early 30s.
Oh, okay.
So he's been studying longer than me too.
Wow. Amazing.
So he's like the opposite of a DJT person because he probably would probably struggle to complete a visual novel because of the kanji. But he's like way better at speaking than me, like way more natural. And so and for me, I value that a lot, right? Because that's what I
Mm.
feel like that's the most important thing. Well, I guess it's also just kind of like, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side. I value it because it's what I'm weak in, so I'm like jealous. Whereas I think he's probably jealous that I and like feels like I think it bothers him that I'm so much better at kanji than him. It makes him want to get better at
Oh,
reading
that's
as
nice.
well.
Really good couple, actually.
So yeah, and also his wife's Japanese, and so like I
Mm.
went and hung out with him for a week, and
Oh, yeah?
like his Japanese his Japanese wife like kept correcting my pitch accent whenever I made a pitch accent mistake.
Oh,
And
wow.
it made me so self-conscious, and she'd be like, hey Matt, you speak Japanese a lot slower than you speak English. Why do you think that is? And like all these other things that just made me like super self-conscious, so it made me feel like, oh fuck, I gotta get better, like still not there yet.
Oh, yeah. No, did she, like, particularly, like, proactively, like, correct you, or just, like, kind of repeating you, but, like, in the correct pitch accent?
Well, the first day that I went there, she asked me, she's like, by the way, do you want me to fix all your pitch accent mistakes?
Oh, yeah?
And and then of course I was like, well, I'm not gonna say no to that. And so and then she would basically she would just like she would just repeat the word and then add ne like on the end. Like if I was like
Oh, yeah.
you know, like benkyo suru. Benkyo ne? Like
Oh,
that. But of course
uh,
it like after a while it really eats away at your ego.
mm. Wait, do you not, like, kind of do that with your girlfriend? I know it'd be pretty hard, but
My girlfriend very rarely corrects me,
okay.
but I also think she doesn't really like notice it that much. Like I think first of all, there's different, you know, different people have different personality types. So some people are naturally like mistakes really stick out to them
Mm.
and they want to correct you. Like I'm kind of like that. Like if I'm talking to an English learner and they
Yeah.
make a mistake, I like always want to tell them. Whereas some people they just kind of like don't really pay attention to it.
Mm.
So my girlfriend, she doesn't really pay attention to it. And every once in a while she'll correct me. I think just when it sticks out to her, but I also think she's just super used to the way that I talk. We've also been dating over a year. So I think in her mind I just speak like matto-ben,
Yeah.
and that's just like its own dialect of Japanese, and she's so used to that that it probably doesn't even sound wrong necessarily to her. And I don't
Oh.
think she notices. Like when I told her, I told her I was like, yeah, like, um, you know, Ken's wife keeps correcting me and like keeps correcting my pitch accent. She'd be like, "Do you really make that many mistakes? I don't think you do."
Mm.
And so yeah, I think she just mostly doesn't notice how much. Every once in a while she will, but I also think it's kind of good. Like for me personally, I would rather keep like language learning out of my relationship, because it's kind of like that's not what really a relationship's supposed to be about. So it's
Mm.
kind of complicates things if you bring that into it.
True, true, true. Interesting, yeah. Ken,
And also,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's definitely good because when she corrected my pitch accent, that made me so self-conscious. It made me feel like, oh, every time I say something, I have to like be careful. And I would never want it to be like that when I talk to my girlfriend, you know.
Yeah, true.
I
Did that?
really, when I talk to my girlfriend, I'm just like no filter. Like
Mm.
I don't give a fuck if my Japanese sounds like shit because I'm just trying to express. My priority is just, you know, communicating with her.
Mm.
So I think it's really important for it to be like that for a relationship to work.
Yeah, true. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Oh. So you're planning to move in with her, I guess, in Japan. Sounds nice.
Well, so yeah, she lives in Japan right now. I think for the summer, she's gonna like for Natsuyasumi,
Mm.
I'm gonna fly her out here and she'll like stay with me for a month.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be a good way to see like what it would be like.
Oh, so like you've been in like a long distance relationship this whole time then? Or
Not the whole time. For at the beginning, we met in person and we hang out in person, and then because she was studying abroad, and then her study abroad ended and she went back to Japan. But it's been long distance for a while now.
Oh, okay. Oh, so like, because I remember when you were doing the film with like Shioma, I think there was somebody who was, filming and talked a bit of Japanese.
That wasn't her. Yeah.
Okay.
That was actually did you see the video on Xiaoma's channel where Xiaoma was like teaching Chinese to a Japanese woman?
Oh, no, I haven't seen the so.
Oh, here I'll show you. It's the person who was filming has her own channel.
Oh, interesting.
She's this Japanese woman. She's like 40 or something. She has a kid who's 22. So.
Oh, very.
But it's so funny. You couldn't tell in the video though, because she's like wearing a mask and.
Yeah. I mean, she had like typical Obasan kind of voice. So
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
you could
way-
tell. You could tell a little
Yeah,
bit.
is this Matt's girlfriend? I can't really. Okay.
No. See, it's this woman. You guys are on the channel.
And when Chinese people try to speak to her in Chinese, which she doesn't speak, she
Is
has
this
zero
okay?
idea how to respond.
Brown hair?
So she thought it would be an interesting
Mhm.
idea if we went around together and I taught
has
her
a
what to
kid.
say in
Asian
Chinese on the
Yeah.
spot, and then I could jump in as
Yeah.
the impromptu
That sounds
interpreter
interesting.
when necessary. Make sure to check out her channel in the link
Was-
above, and before we
Actually,
get off the video,
apparently the
shout out
kid,
to-
her kid was filming this video.
Okay. Kids in like university in various-
Yeah, he's half Japanese, I think.
Oh.
server.
Or maybe he's full Japanese, but
And
he was
if you're an
raised
anime
here, so he
fan like
speaks
me,
both. I
express
can't
me
remember.
via
I didn't
YouTube
meet
super
her
easy to just
kid
change your-
personally.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool.
But yeah, she was the one who was filming.
Yeah, how was it? Because that was kind of like your first experience, right? Doing that. Well, I mean, you did do like VR chat, but like in public, kind of giving off that persona and like surprising people with your Japanese.
I mean, it was really fun. As you saw, you did see the one on Shama's channel?
Oh, I haven't. I've seen the one on your channel.
Okay, you've watched the one on Shama's channel. It's like way better. Like
Is it,
like actually all
okay.
I put all the good reactions on that one. Like all the Japanese people like
Okay.
actually being impressed and being like, "Oh, what? How'd you get so good? Is your mom Japanese?" Like
yeah.
so
Yeah.
so that one it was really fun. And it was also just surreal to hang out with Shama because he like gets recognized like once an hour in New York. Like someone comes up to him and is like, "Hey, wait, aren't you on YouTube?" So it felt like I was hanging out with a famous person. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. But didn't you also get like
Yeah, I got
recognized by
recognized
somebody
once,
or, like,
but
the
dude,
person-
I
Yeah.
saw Shama get recognized like 20 times over the course of the weekend.
in like
that,
the span of
that we hung out.
oh.
Like it was kind of funny. When I first met him, like we met up at this street. One of the first things I asked him was
Yeah.
like, "Do you ever get recognized in person?" And he's like, "Yeah, all the time."
Mm.
And then like literally like 30 seconds later, someone came up to him and was like, "Wait, are you Shama?" So
Yeah.
it was pretty surreal. But it was like really cool to go and hang out in New York and it definitely felt like, oh, this is something that never would have happened if I didn't do YouTube and stuff like that. So I felt like kind of like
Yeah.
a milestone in my mind. But it was also
Yeah,
kind
I
of
think
a
I'd
lot of
collab
pressure
more.
of like
Mhm.
actually the first day we went to this shopping center where it was like this Japanese shopping center, so there was a lot of Japanese employees, but none of them had a good reaction. Like none of them cared that I spoke Japanese.
Okay.
So I was kind of freaking out. I was like, "Oh shit! Like, what's gonna happen if we can't get any good reactions? And like, what's gonna happen?" And then we went to this other Japanese place and started talking to like normal like Ippanjin who were Japanese, and then they gave a lot of good reactions. So we ended up getting like if you watch this video, it's really good. Like we get a ton of good reactions. So then it was kind of like, whew, okay, cool.
I mean, you did mention that like actually not getting a reaction might be better because like they just normally interact with you compared to
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true, but I also like I think it might have to do with the fact that it was New York and that people in New York are like kind of
off.
well, no, it's just that there's a vibe in New York. It's kind of like Tokyo. People are kind of colder in general,
Oh,
They're kind of like
okay,
more
okay.
jaded. So that could be a big part of it as well. Because one of my friends, like the friend who's better than me in Japanese, I showed him some of the videos and he was shocked. He was like,
Yeah.
when I go to LA and speak to Japanese people, it's never like this. They're always like super psyched and like super excited. And even where I live in Portland, Oregon, there's also that normally people are pretty excited. Like, because the thing is, like, even if they assume you're Japanese at first, if they're like sometimes maybe they won't act, they'll like not have a big reaction, and then they'll be like, oh, so like, how do you speak Japanese? And I'll be like, oh, I just studied, I taught myself. Then they'll be like, what?
Whoa.
Holy shit! But the people, but even from the beginning, they're at least like curious. I mean, they're like at least kyomi o shimasu. But the people in New York, they just literally seem like, I don't give a fuck. Let's get out of here.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it was cool just to hang out with Shama and make that connection, learn how he makes the videos, and be
Do you think
like,
you
this is
have
something
more
I could send to my
collabs with him?
family. Like, hey, look at this.
Oh.
I'm on this channel. It has 3 million views
Yeah.
or 3 million subscribers.
Do you think you could like collab more with him, or like are you like you would say you're friends with him then now? Close
Yeah,
friends.
I would say so. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to see more content like that actually from you. I think of course like, you're practicing speaking also, but then like it would also be, and I don't know, like how would you want to like push your channel, YouTube channel?
I mean, I think going forward, most of my content will be like educational language learning content, but I think I'll start I'll like every couple of months I'll throw one of these in there
Right.
because I mean, first of all, it's a really good way to get exposure to my channel. Like the VR chat video, that's my most viewed video.
Mm.
It has 500,000 views, and so many people like learned about Refold or learned about
From
me
that.
through that video. So it's really good just for exposure.
Mm.
And of course, everyone like most people love it. Most people get excited about it. So like actually now I learned like the way that Xiaoma films these is with a GoPro.
Okay.
And you know, GoPros, they're only like this big.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what he does is he like actually attaches it to a necklace. And then he has someone just like wear the GoPro like a necklace. So it's just around their neck. They're not even holding it in their hands. So it's like really inconspicuous. That's why the people, they don't notice that we're filming.
True, yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, how come like the people didn't really give notice to the camera? And
Yeah, because it's like, for example, that for us, it was just that Japanese woman. She would just be wearing the camera, and she's kind of standing off to the side. She's not
Yeah.
like directly in the interaction, so no one notices the camera really.
Oh, cool. Wow, yeah.
So now I just know if I just got a GoPro and then just found a friend to go and like stand by me while I like stand off to the side, if I approach Japanese people, then I could probably. I mean, I could probably like the thing was because I was in New York and because I was with Xiaoma, there was this pressure to like, you know,
Perform.
yeah, well also just like to like make every interaction count.
Yeah.
And to like, and there was this time pressure. Just felt like, oh, I gotta hurry up. I gotta get good footage. Whereas if it was just me, I'd probably be like, you know, I'd be relaxed because it'd be like, hey, there's no rush. If I don't get any good footage this day, no big deal. I can come back tomorrow. You know.
Yeah, true. Wait, like actually, how long did you actually record, and how much of it would you say was good content?
So it was pretty much like 2 full days
okay.
of recording that we did to get like basically to get the video on his channel. It was like 1 full day, and to get the video on my channel, it was like 1 full day. And the footage itself ended up being like 90 minutes of footage total.
Yeah.
That I had to like scrub through, and I would say like maybe like a fourth of the interactions were like usable.
Yeah. True,
But the other thing is the other thing is like a lot of the reactions end like instantly. It's like there are a lot of times I just go and talk to them, and then they were like actually Korean or like actually Chinese.
Oh, okay. Or did you have like more? Because you said that you have more content in your channel, right? Where you're like talking with some Japanese people, like more deeply.
Yeah, you mean like the behind the scenes footage?
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's some. I mean, the ones that I didn't put in the video, sometimes they just had no reaction, and it was just boring. Okay. Like it was just we just had a conversation. Like a lot of times I'm asking them about food, and they'll just like there's one interaction where like I'm in the store and I like ask about natto, and she just tells me about natto for like 5 minutes, and it's like she doesn't really react to my Japanese. She just tells me about natto. So there was some of those. There were some times where I like went and talked to them, and they were actually they were actually Korean or they were actually Chinese, and then it was just like, oh, okay, sorry, bye. And then there were some other people who like were like more hostile. Or
really.
Yeah, like there's just some people who they're just kind of like there was this old Japanese woman I talked to, and even though I talked to her in Japanese, she kept speaking back in English.
Okay.
Like even though her English was really bad, and she clearly was just like not into me like talking. She just like wanted to get on with her day, and like clearly didn't care to talk to me. So she kept trying to like end the conversation, and then just like walk away. So there's a lot of people who clearly were just like, you know, like just through their body language were clearly like, I don't want to be talking to you right now.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, but I mean, I think a lot of that. I mean, part of that is just like, and Xiaoma would tell me, he's like, oh, this is totally normal. Like, you just got to keep like kazu kanasu. You just got to keep doing it, and it's mostly luck. You know, it has less to do with how well you perform, and more with like just the other person. Like, are they in the mood to talk to you or not? Are they interested in foreigners or not? And so it's mostly just about like filming a lot of reactions, and then if you film 10, you'll get like 1 or 2 good ones.
Cool, yeah. Because I think a lot of people would be interested in you having like a full-length conversation compared to like these small interactions. Although 10 minutes is, you know, very long, I would say, for like a Japanese learner. But I think a lot of people would be very interested in like, well, maybe not your personal life, but like if you were to talk on maybe like a topic for like half an hour with somebody in Japanese, I think that would be.
You mean like doesn't have to be like on the street? It just like
like free talk kind of, yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I think I'm gonna do more of that. Like actually, the video I filmed with like first of all, the video I filmed with there's a video on Yoko's channel where it was all in Japanese, and And then when I filmed with Atsuego,
Yeah. was in
actually,
Japanese.
so we filmed. We filmed one video for my channel, one video on his channel. On his channel, I speak Japanese and he speaks English back to me.
Okay.
And on
That's
my
interesting.
channel, I speak English and he speaks Japanese back to me. So we like on one we both spoke our foreign language, on one we both spoke our native language.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Wow.
weird, but yeah, I am thinking I want to do more Japanese stuff.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Actually, like I've seen some of Atsuego's content. How would you rate his English as like a Japanese? Honestly.
I mean, it's good, but it's not amazing.
Okay. Would you say? I mean, like outside of halves, would you say that there's better people in YouTube, like English speakers, but who are Japanese?
I mean, I don't think there's any big famous ones,
Mm.
but I guess I just like there are
Mm.
there are like German people who've learned English, or like other European people who've learned English that are like so close to being native that
Okay.
when you compare it to Atsuego, they're like way better than him. So in my mind, it's like I guess that for a Japanese person, he's pretty good,
Pretty good.
but he's still
Yeah.
like when I hear him, I'm not like that impressed.
Right. I mean, when I think about Germany, I think of QM, and like he still has a really thick accent, so I can't really.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's not like who I would necessarily like include, but
Yeah.
why can you think of any Japanese English learners who are
To be
better?
honest, not really, because I can only think of like Atsuego. To be honest, I was just kind of curious if you had like
I
more
mean,
insight on that.
Yoko is pretty good in kind of like a different
Yeah.
way, but she
Mhm.
still makes
Ah,
significant amount of like mistakes.
true, yeah. Ah, wait, I can think of maybe one person I know in real life. I'm sure you've talked with him. He lives in Sendai too with me. Can you
So
take a
yeah,
guess? Yeah. I don't know if you've talked about his place, but it's Stone.
Fermi.
Yeah, from DJT. Have you ever heard of him?
Who? Fermi?
No, Stone
Oh, Stone.
is his
Oh
name.
yeah. Oh yeah. I talked to him, but he always just spoken. His English
Japanese.
seems pretty bad.
Really?
I don't know if he was like purposely doing a thick accent.
Wait, so you talked in English with him then, in that case?
I can't. I mean, we mostly talked in Japanese,
Yeah.
but I feel like I heard him just saying a couple things in. Actually, maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
No, 'cause
Maybe
like, yeah.
actually, yeah. I don't even know if I heard him speak English. It sounded like he was mostly
Ah.
just in my memory. He was mostly speaking Japanese.
Yeah, because like, at least for me, because he's almost never been abroad, I think. He's never stayed abroad, right? And so he's always lived in Sendai. And so like I went to like the aquarium with him. We had some fun there. We talked half in Japanese, half in English. And I would say he's on the better half of like English speakers, to be honest. Yeah, maybe like elite if it was like in Japan in general, I think. So maybe you would have interest talking with him. I mean, at least
Yeah.
I mean, at least accent-wise, he's a lot better than most Japanese, though.
Yeah, I guess I must have not heard him speak English. I probably would have remembered.
Yeah.
There's
I
also
mean, yeah.
actually there's that guy Udai. Have you ever seen him? He like
Oh,
makes videos about pitch accent.
yeah. I think I've seen him on the Reef now. Yeah.
I feel like he's pretty good at English.
Yeah, he does. He's also immersion, right? I think normally.
Yeah. Except apparently he has some jaw like disease that makes it like
Jaw
hard for him to
disease.
talk.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's well sad to hear. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it would be cool to like. I mean, I kind of have like a dream of like one day, like actually, I think.
A
Do you
dream?
ever actually watch Joey the Anime Man?
Yeah, like his normal anime videos, I guess.
Like, he's been doing a lot of interviews with Japanese people,
Oh, yeah. I've seen some of them.
like with like porn stars or with like
Yeah,
with like
yeah.
docs and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that is super cool. I would want to do something like that where I just like interview like cool famous
Yeah,
Japanese
that would be
people.
really cool. Yeah, because when I first watched it and I was like kind of getting used to Japanese, I thought it was really cool how could just use Keigo so fluent. I mean, he is half, but still, I think that those type of content is really appealing. So
I think that would be cool, or like to actually like just have a like a podcast basically, but with Japanese people.
mm,
Well, I mean, I guess I'd have to find some kind of angle of like, well, why is it me? Like, and why is it like try to make use of the fact that I'm a foreigner or that I learned Japanese. Maybe it could be something related to linguistics or something. I don't know. But I think it would be cool to do eventually beyond just people who've learned a language and try to do something like, oh, this guy, he's like studies this for a living. Let me interview him about
Oh,
his
I
subject of
mean,
expertise or
uh,
something.
I'm sure you've seen the podcast Trash Taste, right? With like Joey.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Would you think that would be a good idea to have that like in Japanese maybe, or like half in English? So I just have like
Well,
different guests.
I mean, the problem is that I feel like, well, something like that would be cool. I mean, for
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not like I like anime, but I'm not like I don't
Oh
feel
no, it
like
doesn't have to be
I'm a
anime, but like having that kind of setting, you have like maybe three main talkers and like a guest speaker. So maybe if you were to have like Dogen come in as like he can be like a guest, but also maybe like a main kind of moderator, and like you have three people there, kind of that kind of same feeling of like a podcast.
yeah, that would definitely be cool. But I think it would also be cool to just do it one on one. It
Mhm.
kind of be like a different thing.
Like, what's your
But
idea in that case? I'm interested.
like
Fuck. I forgot British
like I think
accent.
it would be cool to like just interview like famous Japanese YouTubers about just like their mindset and like for example, do you know Hiroyuki?
Hiro, no,
He's like one of my favorite Japanese people.
okay.
He's actually he wrote this book.
Uh,
He's the person who created 2chan,
right.
and he also what's that?
No, I think I've seen his face to be honest. I can't say for sure.
And yeah, he
Yeah.
also played a big role in creating Nico Nico Doga.
Oh really?
And yeah, and now so he's really rich, and he's
Right.
like 43 or something, and he lives in France, and he just does these like 3 hour long live streams where he just like interacts with the chat on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm checking the
But he's
channel. Yeah.
yeah, but he's been getting like I've been watching him for a couple years, but recently he's been getting way more popular,
Okay.
and he's had like a lot more interaction with other Japanese YouTubers,
Mhm.
and his way of thinking is very like not stereotypical of a Japanese person,
Okay.
and he says a lot of things that I've like never heard Japanese people say before.
Wait,
So
mention some of them. Is it
like
like too channel culture-ish?
like I mean like a lot of Japanese people are really biased towards Japanese culture, but he will just like be like, oh yeah, they're like the like he will let me try to think like he'll basically be like so like someone will be like, Hiroyuki, what should I do? I'm like 26 and I have no skills and like I don't want to get a job. He's like, oh, you can just you know Seikatsu Hogo?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like he's like, oh, just get Seikatsu Hogo and then you don't have to work and then you can just chill all day. That's what I would do.
That's
And
pretty based, yeah.
and he like has a lot of things like that where but he always explains it really logically and makes a good argument for it. But he'll and he'll also say some things that are like really normal of like people some guy will be like, hey, I really don't hate school and I don't want to go to college, and I'm thinking about becoming like a programmer. What should I do? And he's like, well, you should probably just go to college because like going to college when you're older is way harder and you can only go to college once, but you can become a programmer anytime. So you should probably just go to college, and then and like if you're like super amazingly talented, then you don't need to go to college and you'll be able to find a way to like make a lot of money. But if you're a normal person, then it's like really hard to make it to, then you're at a huge disadvantage if you don't have a college degree. And the fact that you are like asking me for life advice on this stream means you're probably not super talented, so you should just go to college. He'll always like say things like that.
Oh, that's smart. That's hilarious.
So yeah, it's really funny. So I think it would be super cool to just like interview him and other people like him and like who are like a little bit out of the mainstream but still like pretty popular. Like that would be my dream if I could like kind of I think like I like doing what Joey does where he just has the one-on-one interviews and he's like sitting down with them in this room with like two chairs. I think that would kind of be my ideal, but with people kind of like Hiroyuki, other people like that.
Cool. I mean, do you have like connections possibly with Hiroyuki?
No,
Or, like,
but I think like for me, I think if I well, first of all, the bigger your YouTube channel is, the more clout you have, so the easier it is to like reach out to people.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I and also just connections like grow, like people know people who know other people. Like right now, I feel like if I was in Japan, maybe I would be able to get on the Trash Taste podcast because I'm friends with Dogen and Dogen's friends with Joey, you know? So I feel like if I just keep doing what I'm doing, the web of connections naturally grows. And also as my subscriber count grows, you naturally have more clout. So I feel like it could like you never know, maybe one day I'll find a connection, or maybe one day I'll have enough clout I'll feel like maybe if I just reached out to him, I mean, who knows? Like, actually, he's done interviews on pretty small channels, so there's a good chance if I just reached out to him now, he would be like, "Yeah, sure." You never know.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Yeah.
He has learned English, but
Yeah.
there's actually pretty funny. So actually, right now, I don't know if you know, Hiroyuki's actually he owns 4chan right now.
He owns 4chan.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then I don't really go on there, to be honest. 4chan.
But you know, there's a when he because you know the original guy who started 4chan was his name was Moot, sorry, Moot. And there's this live stream from a long time ago when Hiroyuki bought 4chan from Moot, and he's like speaking English to him, but he's like pretty bad.
Oh, okay.
Like,
is this like recent or?
no, this is like probably close to 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool.
But yeah, here's the videos. But he lived in America. Yeah, he got ran over by a car and sued the guy who ran over him, and then used the money to study abroad. Yeah.
Oh, the guy's also then. That's so funny.
Yeah, and he went to like the middle of nowhere in America because he didn't want there to be any
というわけで、
Japanese
まあ
people
まあ
there. He wanted to like be forced to learn English.
Oh, okay. That's so eccentric, man. I love this dude.
Yeah,
So you
he's
wanna-
like the
yeah.
coolest Japanese person that I know.
So I want to do like interviews with these types of guys. So that'd be really fun, actually. Cool. Cool.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
guess
think yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just asking, like, do you think you'd have like so much more content once you come to like Japan? Are you gonna do like regular vlogs or stuff?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I mean, if I wanted to, there's a tons of content that I could kind of make. But I feel like for me, I don't want to making vlogs about being in Japan. That's so basic, you know. I wouldn't want to do something like that. I'd want to find some kind of I would want to do something where like only I could do it, ideally, you know. So then people have a real reason to watch me instead of someone else.
True.
But yeah, I haven't thought about it too much. Like how would my content creation change if I went to Japan? But
so you have like a plan for like the next 2 years, 3 years maybe, but maybe not too far into the future, you would say?
I mean, I don't even have that clear of a plan even for like a year from now, really. But also,
yeah,
I think another thing that I have is maybe doing something like Refold, but like in Japanese for people learning English. So I think that's another idea that I have is like just like have a channel where I'm explaining how to learn a language in Japanese to Japanese people so they can learn English. That's probably the thing that I want to do the most.
Yeah.
Like next.
I mean, for YouTube, that's also really good, right? Like, I know foreigner teaches Japanese people English in Japanese or something.
Yeah, and I feel like immersion learning is like totally untapped in Japanese
community. Yeah, true.
Like no one, like especially with like and then with Anki and stuff, like no one knows about that.
True.
Or like very few.
Yeah, because like I talked with a friend before, like he wanted to study English, right? And he was confused on how to do it. I introduced Anki, and he actually said to me like, "How come no Japanese people know this? This is like the perfect app ever." So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even it was almost the same even in the English world until like I mean, Anki, I feel like just in the last couple years has like been getting a lot more popular. But still, if you go to your average Japanese learner on like for example, when I was at my local college, taking like and I talked to other Japanese learners there, most of them didn't know about Anki still. So, but it's even less in Japan. So,
true. Yeah.
But yeah, especially now that like when so do you know what I'm talking about? Yoko, her channel's like YYY yo. This person. Have you ever seen this person?
Wait. Isn't this?
Yeah.
He couldn't. Not couldn't. But wasn't as fluent as something.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
I just went to this video and Dogen commented on it. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dogen is like
And then
he just said "Benkyou ni narimasu." But like after I made this video, I got a lot more Japanese followers, and and that kind of like motivated me to try to like want to make more Japanese content because I realized there is a demand for it, and it showed me just the potential of like because also like Japanese people, like if you watch this like my Japanese is not perfect in this video. I make a lot of mistakes, like especially my pitch accent is not perfect, but like all the comments are 100% positive. They're all like, "Oh my god, he's so good. How did he get so good?" Like for Japanese people. So I guess that showed me of like, oh, I don't need to be perfect to like make videos for a Japanese audience. You know, I'm probably already good enough.
Right. Do you think you could like move towards that kind of direction? Because at least I think Dogen always does like videos in Japanese with like the English subtitles. Or do you think like it's not really fitting because like you mainly
Well,
want to
I
make
think
them in
actually one thing
English?
Shalma said is that like it might be a good idea to make a whole new channel for Japanese content
Mm.
because the way that YouTube works is that like if some of your videos are for an English audience and some are for a Japanese audience, that's going to be really bad for your channel because at any one point only half your audience is watching your videos, and that tells YouTube that all
Oh.
YouTube views that as you don't have consistent viewership. And so it's important for like all your, and he said that happened to him for a while where like he was like he used to make these videos where he would like go and like have some traditional Philippine food from the Philippines and then like give it to people in the streets of New York and film their reaction. And it would go viral in the Philippines. And then he would do it with an Indian food and then it would go viral in India. And he was having all these videos with millions of views, but like his channel overall wasn't growing because like it wasn't consistent. The audience was different every time. And so if like half my videos are for a Japanese audience, half are for an English audience, that might be pretty bad. So it might be better to just make a whole new channel. And actually Shalma did that. Like Shalma, well, he has a Spanish channel, and he also recently made a Japanese channel. And it's kind of funny because he just uploaded the VR chat video that we made together on it.
Oh, nice.
And so there's like Japanese people commenting on it. Here.
So that links to your channel then, right?
Mm-hmm. But like so for this, he's just taking his videos from his main channel, paying someone to make Japanese subtitles, and then re-uploading them.
Ooh, that's smart.
Here.
Oh, you sent the link. Okay. Oh.
So you can see it's a whole other channel that he started like a little bit ago.
Yeah, Nihongo. Oh, cool.
But it's the same videos, but it's in Japanese, so it might be better to just.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Probably shouldn't call it Matt versus Japan too. I should call it.
Cool. Yeah, this would be amazing, I think, if you were to go into this.
So yeah, that's probably what I think it'd be really cool to do that. And because for me, part of me always hates the fact that like the whole gimmick is that I'm good at Japanese, but my actual like job is just to talk in English, you know? So I always wanted to do something in Japanese. I feel like that's the true that's the true path. You got to like learn Japanese, then actually do something with it, not just talk about how you learn Japanese in English.
Sure. I mean, like once you actually start doing that, you can get into like you said before, like the Japanese untapped community, right? Where like they want to do English, they don't really know immersion, and you can kind of bring that into them. So that'd be really cool, I think.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, so I'm curious, did your impression of me change after talking about all this stuff?
I mean, to be honest, I had a pretty normal impression of you. I mean, I did see the video, because like I kind of understand that kind of meme feel that DJT has, but also at the same time, everyone kind of acknowledges that you are a big figure and you're kind of participating, helping, contributing to the community. Because like I know a lot of people like Vin, for example. I think you know him.
Oh yeah, well he's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. He also likes to kind of meme about Matt did this funny thing on like the DJT server or something, or like some people say, oh, Matt's a sellout. But in all honesty, if it wasn't for Matt, I wouldn't have started learning Japanese. I think a lot of people kind of acknowledges that either way. So
yeah, I think so. I was talking to some people the other day. They're kind of saying that where like most people do respect me and are just playful, and it's probably a minority of people who are like truly hateful. But it's like hard for me to see it that way because all I see is like all these anonymous people saying like not so nice things about me.
Right. Like when I first joined DJT and there was like these top people, after like N1, there's like Taiko, Daio, and like just like the top elites. when I first came in, my impression was like all of them were cold, right? Like I thought none of them really had like fun personalities. But when I actually entered into DJT V2, where all the kind of cool guys are, that really changed my impression. Because like when you actually go into VC, you talk with them, especially if you're like on with video camera, VC. It really changes your impression, and you kind of just feel connected. And actually with QM, I did like debate a lot with him, especially because I'm Muslim, and he's kind of anti with that, and he's also he likes to pick fights, to be honest. But when you actually go into VC, he's very passive. I don't know if it's because he's not that used to speaking in English, but I just feel it's so different, and you can't get mad at him once he's in VC. I think so.
Oh yeah, no, I felt that too. That's why the first time that we talked, it was in VC, because I feel like if it's hearing someone's voice, you naturally recognize their humanity way more. And if it's video, it's even more. Then it's like, for me, there's so many times where I'll be talking to someone and I'll feel like, oh, this person is kind of annoying. But then the second that I see their face or we talk on video chat, I'm suddenly like, oh, it's like I have this moment of, oh shit, they're like a real person. And then I don't feel bad about them anymore.
Yeah. I mean, like, I knew you as a personality, as like a public figure, but I don't know. I think, because I never really gave that image. I kind of detached you from the beginning, so I don't really see you as very different, to be honest. You're just like a cool guy, I would say.
That's cool. Yeah, well, I definitely get, like, I guess there's different people. Like, you kind of remind me of Vin too, in that I get a very wholesome vibe from him.
Mm.
And it's like easy for me to see that he has no negative intentions, and that it's like very positive person.
Yeah.
Not like QM. So
True. I mean, Vin is also pretty young though, so who knows? But hopefully he stays.
that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like it's when you're younger, you're more impressionable. So I feel like being at this age, if he can be that wholesome, he's probably good.
True.
Like
Yeah.
I'm like, Shoei, like
Yeah.
the first time that I talked to Shoei, she was like a really big fan, and she was like asking me all these questions, and she like was like really excited. And then I didn't talk to her for like a couple months, and then one day Miso told me that she was like talking a bunch of shit about me, and I was like, what? Last time I talked to her, she like loved me.
Yeah.
And then I went to her server and she was talking all this shit about me, and then I DM'd her and I was like, yo, what happened? Like, and basically what had happened is she just went on DJT and just got brainwashed.
Okay.
Into like Quizmaster's philosophy.
Well, wait, Refold Brazil, right? You mean?
No. This is before that. This is before Refold even existed.
So like the Moe server, you mean, like her server?
Yeah. It was that. It was like last year, like quite a while ago.
Okay.
Probably over 6 months ago.
I mean, at least now Shoei hates DJT. Like when she.
Well, then I talked to her for like, and we had this long conversation, and I like reconvinced her that I was cool, basically, and then she just like went 180 degrees and then liked me again. So it just felt like she was so my takeaway was like, oh, she's just super impressionable. Like, she can be convinced of like anything almost.
Ooh.
If you can like get her to think that you're a authority.
Yeah. Wait, do you actually think that she's like, I think she's like 15. She says like she's 15 years old and she's like from the UK and she's mute. Do you actually kind of did you buy into that? Do you think it's true? Have you like talked? I don't think you.
I mean, I'm definitely not 100% sold, but but I guess I assume, like, overall, I lean to the side that thinking it's true.
Okay.
Why? You don't think so?
I don't know, because like at least the DJT people, a lot of them don't believe so. They think it's...
I mean, it is kind of a far-fetched story.
Right. Yeah.
But also, like, I mean, if you just hear the story, like, person on the internet hasn't showed their face, they're 15 and they're mute. Like, that just sounds like a made-up story to cover the fact that they're like a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
But when you actually talk to her, though, like, she seems really immature. So she does seem like a little kid to me.
Yeah, she does like throw a lot of fits on the other server, so I can tell.
And like, I actually had there was one time where she made a Patreon, and I was trying to help her start. I helped her start the Patreon, and she like had all these issues because she wasn't 18, so she couldn't. She like needed to get her mom's permission and all this stuff, and it really seemed like very far-fetched if that was literally just a story she was making up. So I don't know. I guess after talking to her for a while, I felt like it's probably true. Also, I have a friend who's like seems pretty close with her, and he definitely seems like convinced. So
Mm.
I
Okay,
guess.
okay.
Well, what do you personally think?
Uh, as like to be honest, I want to believe, but at the same time, well, because like actually, it's hard for me because it doesn't really change how I would like communicate with her, but I would just feel kind of weirded out with it if she's actually not a girl, a guy, 40 years old, kind of LARPing as a 15-year-old. But I mean, she's still kind of fun either way. So
Yeah. I mean, so like,
I don't know about like that kind of imposter
but
impression.
your default, you lean to the sides was probably it's
It's
probably not true.
yeah, like if it's no true.
What's the reason for that? Just because the story itself is far fetched, or is like what's like the thing that pushed you in that direction?
It's kind of for me. It feels kind of unbelievable, like the way that she built the server. She like got with everybody, kind of the connections, and then like the way that she interacts with people. I mean, only recently have I kind of got into okay, yeah, she does like throw a lot of fits. She gets pretty emotional very easily. So I guess so. Or is that just like a persona thing? I don't know. I don't know because like, what do you think about like internet imposters? Like, what's your impression on that?
I mean, I know it happens. I know it's
Okay.
definitely a thing, but I don't have that much direct experience with it.
Oh,
So nothing
okay.
really comes to mind. I mean, I guess there are some areas where like for example, my do you I don't know if you know Vlad. You know Vlad?
No, Vlad.
He uh
Another
he used to
YouTuber?
be in the Moe server,
Oh, okay.
and he's like a long time Japanese learner. I knew him since for like before I like really did YouTube, and he's like pretty good friends with Shoei,
Sorry.
and he was like telling me how she like is like super knowledgeable about all these
Computers.
like Windows
Oh,
10, yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah,
about
yeah.
computers and stuff, and like also yeah, she like wrote the whole she like writes a lot,
Okay.
like she wrote this like really long guide.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess I interpreted that of like maybe she's like she says she's autistic. Maybe it's the kind of autism where you're like really unbalanced, like you're like
Mm.
really like have really amazing talents in one area, but then like you're lacking in another area. But I don't know. Now that you say it, maybe that is kind of suspicious.
I don't know. Like when you first joined DJ, because like you joined with like Nihongo Boss, right? And like there was like this stream.
That well,
Uh,
I mean, there was a time before that.
oh
That was like
yeah.
not the first time I joined,
Oh,
but
okay. I mean, do you think that people, I don't know, like from the way that you chat, are easily, uh, I don't know, like they can guess that it's you very easily, would you say? Or that, because you said that there was one time before that. I don't know about the details. So.
no. The reason why people knew Nihongo Boss was me is because I was in the voice chat
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, there was that.
So that totally gave it away. But there was a recent time. Did you hear of that? I like one of my alts got found out that it was me.
Uh, I don't know. I think that was in DJT. It was like somebody called Ren or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so like I had that alt for like a year,
Okay.
and they didn't know it was me and no one
Oh,
even
really?
suspected it was me until I fucked up like 2 weeks ago.
No, wait, wait, wait. I need to check on DJT. I feel like I've seen the name Ren. Did he like join voice chat or something? Because like there used to be this really long like week voice chat on like DJT where like a lot of like the good guys like Sam, HMCL, Thry, they would join and we like just talk for, like hours on, you know. And then like Ren would join VC and like talk about pitch or something. So
I
it
never
was
talked.
oh no, I mean like
I only
chatting.
chatted.
Yeah, yeah.
I would listen and then write.
Ah, okay. So interesting. So that was like you
But
1 year ago or something.
yeah, and no one knew it was me. The reason I got found out because I someone told me that a bunch of people were talking shit about me in the Refold server, and so I used Ren to join the server,
Right?
and then I was the only one not saying anything,
Right.
and that's how. And then someone like started joking, like, "Oh, I bet this is Matt listening." And at first it was just a joke,
Yeah.
but then I like got freaked out. So then they
Then you
like started
responded.
memeing. So then I responded, and then I fucked up, and then that made it way more obvious that it was me.
Oh, okay,
But if it
okay.
wasn't for that, then like yeah, I used to go on that. I mean, I didn't go on that much, but like I had a couple like long conversations on no one even suspected it was me, so I don't think so.
Oh, cool, cool. So you would say that you would use those to like, I don't know, check out DJT? Because I mean, like, I remember Ren. I said like joining and chatting, and I think, oh, that this is a cool guy. Yeah, he can like, we can have fun. And do you think that it would be much more possible to like join the community if it was like through an alt maybe or something?
Yeah, definitely. Well, that was actually my idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Ren, I was gonna actually try to join the community,
Yeah.
but I realized because I was like, oh, if they don't, they'll just treat me normally if they don't know it's Matt vs Japan. But it's like, but then they would, whenever I saw them talking shit about Matt vs Japan,
You would feel.
yeah, I would feel bad. So then I just realized like I can't, like it's too harmful to my psychology to like be
Oh.
regularly seeing people talk shit about me.
Yeah, that is hard. Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, but it is what it is. And yeah, it has its ups and I mean it has its positives and negatives. Like getting to go and film with Shalma, that was like huge, cool positive. So
Yeah, that was
can't
really
complain.
cool.
Like and like getting to like talk to Dogen, film duos with Dogen and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
How would you say Dogen is like in real life, just as a person?
I feel like we could be good friends if we lived close to each other. He's yeah, he's pretty chill. Like what do you mean particularly?
No, because like, would you say he gives off the personality, or is just like normal him, natural him? Because like, I'm sure you have
If you
like
watch,
multiple.
well, like, have you ever seen his live streams?
Yeah, I've seen like one or
So
two.
in his live streams, he has a very different vibe than when he's like doing a comedy skits, right?
Yeah. Oh,
The
so you would
vibe in
say,
his live streams are like very much similar to like when we're just talking and not recording
okay,
anything.
okay, it's nice to know, I guess.
I mean, there's certain things that he doesn't say like that he like has said to me, but he probably would never say like on the live stream because he like is afraid of getting canceled or stuff. But
Yeah.
overall, it's very close, I would say.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I know. I'd love to see you like get more, interacted into the community, talk more, but it must be really hard.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty much impossible because like anything, like for example, one time when I was doing the like Nihongo boss, right?
Right.
I was just hanging out in the voice chat, and we were having a good time. We were having a high like everyone was having a good time, and I was actually like reading visual novels with them.
Yeah.
And then someone recorded it and uploaded it to YouTube and called it Matt vs Japan fails to read easy light novel or fails to read easy visual novel. I don't know if you've seen that video. It doesn't have a lot of views. But so then that was just a confirmation of like I can't be part of the community because they're gonna like there's always gonna be someone who just comes and ruins it, sabotages me.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sad. I mean, I don't know, cause like yeah, there's like the security complex and also like the hunter gatherer, us versus them. I don't know, cause like I think it'd be really cool if you would just like be part of the community. But
Well, I think another thing that is kind of problematic is that I make money off all this stuff because I know in like 4chan there's kind of this vibe that like everything should be free and you shouldn't sell stuff. That's like immoral to sell stuff.
Right.
And it's kind of silly, but that is the vibe, right? Everyone pirates everything, and so that the fact that I make money off it, even though most stuff is free, it bothers me. But I probably will sell more stuff in the future, so they'll probably hate me even more when that time comes.
Right. I mean, I think Patreon in general is pretty much fine. I think I've heard like one argument about like you have this core deck or something in Refold. What is it? Like the 1K core something Refold.
Yeah, the JP1K deck.
Yeah. And I think some people are kind of against that because they feel that, oh, then what's the difference with like the normal 3K core deck or like 6K? Why is it like, I think it's for like only Patreon exclusive or something?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, also, if there's not something behind a paywall, then like
there's nothing.
People aren't going to join the Patreon, right? Most people, they don't join purely because they want to like support. It's like a combination of they want to support and they like want this perk.
Yeah.
And so like Refold, like actually, the public doesn't really know this, but like, so you know who Ethan is?
Ethan, sorry, who?
He's like top spin in the server. He's the other founder of Refold.
Okay. It's different from Brett and the others, I think, right? So
yeah, Brett is the moderator of the he's the admin of the Japanese server.
Yeah.
But
the main Refold, is it?
Yeah, so this is like beyond just Discord. He's like the main he just runs he's like the co-founder of Refold with
Ah,
me.
okay, cool,
And
cool.
so he actually like he like controls what Refold does more than I do.
Yeah, yeah.
I am like responsible for making the actual language learning methodology, but he like controls Refold like as a company.
Oh,
And
okay.
so he's like hired multiple people. Like he hired someone to like code the next portion of the website,
Mm,
and he has like someone to do research on other language learning products and
mm,
like to learn more about the market. And so he's like running this big operation with all these
right.
different things happening at once. And so we Refold needs money to pay
Yeah.
people to build what Refold's going to become. So money is necessary, and so we need to make money. This isn't, we don't like literally we yeah we to Ethan wants to turn Refold into something really big. His
Mm.
long term vision is like to like overtake Duolingo and become the
Ooh,
dominant language learning
that'd
method.
be epic.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and so if you want to grow something to that scale, you need a lot of resources, right, to make stuff
Mm,
happen. It requires a lot of people, a lot of work. So there needs to be cash flow.
mm.
And so the JP1K, that like the Patreon went up by like $1,000 the month that we added that
Ooh,
as a
okay.
thing because people want it. So I mean, yeah, we can't like in Ethan's point of view, it's all part of the greater good, right? Because he actually for him making money isn't the biggest thing. He literally has this vision of like he wants to save all the people who want to learn a language but waste their time with Duolingo and Rosetta Stone. And
Wow.
to make that vision happen, you need cash flow. So it's all part of the bigger vision.
I never actually thought about that. Well, I never heard it like about that to begin with. So, yeah, I think like the main impression people have is just like you're cashing in like a very simple like deck that doesn't seem to have much effort put into it. But like if you talk about the whole background story towards it, I think it is actually quite amazing as like a whole project. So,
Yeah, and that was, I mean, I mean, if you I the video where I explain the deck
yeah,
is free. Anyone can watch it. It's on the YouTube channel.
yeah, yeah.
So if anyone could take the idea and then make their own. It's like if the deck's that easy to make and that's what you're complaining about, then just make your own. The idea is the important part. I'm giving you the idea for free.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh,
but what we knew is that people want the deck that I made, even if
mm,
it's not even the best one. Even if there's another one that's free that's pretty much the same. They want the one that certain population of people. They want the one that Matt vs Japan made.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so we knew that. So it's like free money basically.
I mean, like that works to your advantage, definitely. I mean, what would you say is like the line where you can't pass this? Because I've heard of like Kazumoto and like his silver spoon $1,000 thing. I
Mm-hmm.
think you mentioned it before. Like, where would you draw the line between like something that's actually useful and something that's like a money grab?
Well, I would never. Well, so the deck is like is good. Like a lot of
Mm.
people use the deck; they have good experience with it. And also, the deck it had an experimental idea. It was like you rep it in this special way where you try to recall the meaning and the reading, but you only grade yourself on the reading.
Oh, okay.
And or sorry, yeah, you only grade yourself on the meaning. And so it was partially the reason why the deck was like kind of low quality was because it was a new idea, and I didn't want to work on like a really high quality deck before the idea had been like tested. So it was kind of like here's a V1. It's like a beta version of the idea, and see if it works. And then a lot of people had a good experience. So now we'll make a better version of it. But so for me, I would never sell something that wasn't good.
Mm.
But I would sell some if there's something that was good, I would sell it. I would I would be willing to make it overpriced if people were going to buy it. With
Oh,
the
okay.
caveat, like for the way I view it is that I think it's important that you could use Refold to learn a language for free.
Mm.
That will always change. That's what we mean when we say Refold will always be free, is that no matter what we do in the future, if you have zero money, you will be able to use Refold to learn a language. And
Ah.
everything that we sell is to make it more convenient or just easier, right? Like maybe we make tools that make it like more efficient or take less effort. Maybe we make decks that save you time. Like those we will sell, but you won't never need those things. The important part is the methodology, right? And
Right.
that will always be free.
Have you ever made like a clear statement about this? Because I think a lot of people are misunderstanding the whole it will always be free forever, and like taking the Refold like the deck as, oh wait, this is a sellout kind of thing. without like going into the context.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. We probably should be clear about that. That is a good idea. We probably should make that statement somewhere, because I know, yeah, that I have seen some people kind of say that. The other thing is that we do have the idea of, so like, actually, I've talked to Katsumoto a couple times, and I also have some friends who like used to be quite close with Katsumoto.
Yeah, yeah.
And surprisingly, I was surprised, he made a ton of money from selling Silver Spoon.
Ooh,
Like millions of dollars from selling Silver
millions
Spoon.
of dollars.
Yeah, because
Wow.
when you do the math, some of the courses where, so actually I know somebody who, he used to be an affiliate for Katsumoto's courses.
Yeah.
Meaning that he had his own link, and if someone bought Katsumoto's course with his link, he got 50% of the income
Okay.
that the link made. And he said Katsumoto's most expensive course was $10,000, and he sold it
Wow.
once
Yeah,
and
yeah.
made $5,000 from that. And so basically the idea is that there's a small population of what they call whales out there.
Yeah.
There's just these people, and they're kind of gullible, and they have a lot of money, whether that's because they got really lucky with Bitcoin or because their parents are rich and they're spoiled.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And so if you can like target the small percentage of people that are rich and but also kind of gullible, then you can make a ton of money. Because if you sell a course for, let's just say, $1,000, you only have to sell like you can make if you sell 100 courses, then you make 100K, right? So you don't, and then when you think about like just 100, it's like, well, we almost have 1,000 patrons at Refold, so that's not a lot of people, right? So in terms of just making money, if you are a sellout and you just make a course and you sell it for a ton of money, and then you like have good marketing, like that by far makes you the most money, and that's what Katsumoto did. So what I would be potentially willing to do in the future is, first of all, there will always be a free version that works and is good. Second of all, I would never sell something that's crap. Like Silver Spoon is actually crap.
Okay.
But I would be willing to sell something that is good for a grossly overpriced price.
For like those whales.
Yeah, for the whales. Yeah.
Okay. So relatively speaking, it's not that expensive actually, if you think about it, right?
Yeah,
Then-
like maybe Refold. Well, basically, what we're talking about is Refold might have premium courses that are like $500 or something. That is like $500, and it's like complete like Refold stage 1 package. It has like, tells you exactly what to immerse with on what day. It's like so someone could make 0 decisions and go through the process. We might have that one day, but it won't be like you need to buy this course to learn the language. In fact, it probably won't even be advertised very big on the site, because when you go to a site and they're shoving some $500 thing down your throat, most people's reaction is, oh, so this is just a scam, or like, oh, this is just, you know. So it will actually probably be like it will only get marketed to like people on an email list that like have like shown a certain amount of interest or something like that, and stuff like that. So, but again, that's all just because it's like a really good way to make money, and the more money you make, the more that resources you have to grow the company. Because like Ethan's vision, he eventually wants to like make like contracts with the government and like get it put into schools as like programs, like instead of normal language class at schools. So he, you know, that's his vision, and making money is mostly like just a tool to help you, you know, be able to make more happen.
Right. Oh yeah. Because the thing is, right, I never knew about like that whole side of Refold. That you were making this whole big project, and like the whole definition of like free forever, and also, I think there's no problem actually in that, you know, the courses, premium courses, because it's not like the people who like study for free are gonna actually buy them, right? But you're still giving the option to people who want to.
And it's not like selling the course is gonna make what they already, like, they have what they had the whole time. It's not like we're taking anything away from them.
Right. True, yeah. In that case, I would say that like some of the hatred is actually pure bias. I mean, like if you could make a statement that really just fully acknowledges that this is the way that we're going for Refold, and I think a lot of people would, you know, be much more informed in that case.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll talk to Ethan about that. That is, we should think about that. But the other thing is that the Japanese community in particular has it's almost like we're like on all the other languages, we're starting at like 0 in terms of like what their impression of us. It's like we're starting at 0, and then we can make a positive impression, whereas the Japanese people, they're already biased of like, you know, thinking that we're up to no good, and we have to like convince them otherwise. So it's kind of extra hard, but
Right. That is challenge. True.
But also we have like just like a lot of plans that will be happening in the future. So I think we're kind of hoping that just like our actions will like make things clear.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'd love to see that actually, because that would kind of shut a lot of like DJT people who would, think a bit bad about, your project.
Yeah, I mean, but and also at the end of the day, the DJC people are a pretty small number of people.
Yeah,
So
you said that. Yeah, true.
it's like from a business standpoint, and also they're the least likely to ever pay money. So it's
Mm.
like from a business standpoint, it doesn't matter that much. But because I mean, like when you think about like mainstream, like every mainstream language learning thing is like they have no morals and they'll do anything to make money. So like when you compare Refold to like Duolingo, like we're so much more moral. Like they probably know their product doesn't actually work,
Right,
but they put all their resources into like gamification and making it as addicting as possible
right,
instead of
right.
actually trying to make it like better at helping you learn a language.
True, true. And yeah, in that case, yeah, Refold would be the much better product.
Yeah, but I think that's the problem with the DJ thing is that in their mind it's not like, oh, look at Refold and then look at Duolingo. Oh yeah, Refold's a lot better. It's like they forget that Duolingo's even a thing, and then they're just like nitpicking Refold basically, even though it's like probably the like most wholesome and like helpful language learning like system that exists right now at the present moment, compared to
Right.
like all the other like language learning apps and like textbooks and everything else out there.
Yeah. Or like, I guess they know both, but they still don't compare between like
Yeah, because
Duolingo,
it's
like
like those
Refold.
other ones. It's like mo 相手にしない
Mm,
最初から
yeah, yeah.
相手にするまでもない
Mhm.
But it is very helpful to hear the perspective of someone who kind of knows the psychology of that part of the community.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be as objective or like in the middle because I join like most communities like Age at Refold, the Moe Way, DJT. I try and have fun in all of them because I think most of the people there, they're all like really good guys. They actually enjoy Japanese a lot. It's just that these kind of small dramas kind of breaks out into like huge separation between the communities, which I think is really sad.
Yeah, it is kind of sad, but I think hopefully it can get better with time. I mean, the whole thing with yoga that also that made
Yeah, that
everything
was
so
really
much
weird,
worse.
actually. I didn't go into detail about it, to be honest, because I just thought, oh, it's just normal drama, and it was gonna finish either way. But do you think that actually yoga had good, what do you call it? Good intentions, or do you think that most of what he
With
did,
what?
with like making his own product, like Migaku or something, or do you
What do you
think that
mean by good intentions?
because like
I mean, his main intention was to become successful. Like,
oh, so he was never part of like the big making Refold a huge community and having people move over to immersion learning. He was never really part like
I mean, his main priority was to make money
okay,
more than anything. I mean, that sounds bad when you say it, but like basically, when I met him, he was already 32, and his
okay,
wife is like 6 years older than him. So his wife was like almost 40,
okay.
and he had spent his whole 20s like
Mm,
basically flying around Asia, fucking around, and learning languages.
yeah, yeah.
And his wife supported him the whole time. Like he's been with his wife for like over 10 years. So he felt like his wife would go whatever he wanted to. He wanted to go to Japan, she'd go to Japan. He wanted to go to China, she came to China. He wanted to go to Brazil, she came to Brazil. And just like was like Furimawa Sarata by him the whole time. And she like put up with him and supported him the whole time.
Wow.
So now she's like almost 40 and really they want to have a kid.
Yeah.
And so he felt like this huge gimu to give back to his wife and support her for like because she supported him for so long. So he was getting really desperate to make enough money so that they could become comfortable and maybe have a kid and like raise the kid comfortably and not be so worried about financial stuff. And so that was basically his motivation of why he just like his motivation was always just I want to make money and this is just a way to make money. But it wasn't as bad as that sounds on the surface because it was really because I know it was really because he wanted to do it for his wife.
Oh, okay. So like purely you think that oh, it's kind of hard actually.
Well,
Yeah.
basically what I mean, basically just what happened was like once we decided we didn't want to work together, then it just became a matter of like, well, what are we gonna? Well, basically, the biggest problem was that when we were doing MIA, like we were both working really hard, but I received more credit than he received because I was the one that was more public facing, right?
Right.
A lot of people didn't even know who he was. And so if we decide, okay, we don't want to work together anymore, let's just split up the assets. You can have the add-ons, I'll take the website, whatever. It's like, well, you can't really, doesn't really work because you can't split up my fame in the community and my reputation, right?
Right.
So if we just split up the resources and go our separate ways, then I'm way better off than him because no one cares about him and everyone cares about me.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that was basically the source of the tension of like, well, how do we resolve this? And he was getting like really greedy. Understandably, it's just out of self-preservation because he was like, oh no, what if like I can't, what if I'm just left with nothing and like, no way to support myself, no way to support my wife. So he was getting like really greedy and asking for like way like an amount that I just like couldn't even afford. He like wanted me to buy MIA from him for an amount of money I didn't even have. Basically, yeah. Okay. He or like buy him out of MIA. It was like MIA was our thing, and I will like buy his 50% from him. And he wanted me to do it for a price I couldn't even afford, basically. And so that was basically how like very quickly it became like Kolshol Ketsuretsu. And once that happened, then he was just pretty much like, I'm just gonna do what's gonna benefit me the most, even if it fucks over Matt.
Oh,
and that's what happened.
But like from the very beginning, you were already like on the way to like discuss with him of like just clear negotiations and just like split. But then he was the one who brought the whole idea of you have to pay for me, buy me out. Was that?
Well, no. Well, basically, like I wanted to try to negotiate directly, but he wanted to get like a third party mediator.
Okay.
But my mom, who was a lawyer, what she told me was that if you get a third party mediator, then like they can be really biased and like they not like basically you there's no way to know whether they're gonna like fully understand the situation or not. So if you get really unlucky and the mediator says something like, totally unreasonable, then I'm like really fucked because then I can't argue back with that, right? Like if the mediator says, okay, I decided that you should pay Yoga like $50,000 or something, then my choice is either what?
You can't go against that. Is that like final?
Well, I could, but then that looks even worse to say like we got an unbiased third party mediator, and then Matt just ignored it when he didn't so that looks even worse than if you never got one in the first place.
Right.
So that's why I was like, well, let's just negotiate directly, and he refused. He was like, nope, I'm either get a mediator or I'm not talking to you. So then I literally just said, okay, I'm not talking to you. And then I didn't hear from him for a month, and then he made the defamation video.
Oh yeah, that is bad.
But we were both in the wrong. Like I can think about a lot of like of course I've thought about it a million times. There are so many ways I could have gone about it differently. Because also for me as well, I was like in survival mode. I was freaked out. I was like, what if Yoga tries to because also most people don't know this, but Yoga was actually the more dominant one in our relationship. Like he was 7 years older than me. Yeah. He had way more life experience than me, and he also just kind of has a domineering personality. So he was the one who always had the final say on most stuff.
Oh wow! Wait, so like he was the one who kind of pushed the channel. Like the decisions were with him, and you kind of just had to follow him.
I mean, it was we were discussing it, but he was like 60%. I was like 40, basically. Okay. And so once I started, and also like my whole family had been telling me like, you're giving this whole time, and my close friends, they're like, you're giving Lucas too much. Like, why do you like bend over back for him so much?
Yeah.
But I couldn't really see it because I just felt like because basically I was insecure myself. So basically when I felt like I didn't trust myself and my intuition, I thought like, oh no, he's right on everything. And so once I realized like, oh, well, I don't want to work with him anymore. Like we have a really toxic relationship. Then like I kind of like I went to the opposite extreme. I like became kind of hostile because I was because he already knows how to push all my buttons and kind of like manipulate me. So I was like extra defensive and extra like not compromising. And that's part of the reason why things blew up. Like if I could have just gone back and I would have like not reacted so harshly. Like there's the video like he recorded me without my permission and then put it on his video. Like I look really bad, and even for me, I watched that. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks. I should. But that was just me having an emotional reaction because so much was at stake, and I was worried that he was gonna like take advantage of me. So I mean, of course, we're both in the wrong
Mm.
ultimately, you know.
True, true. But like, in the end, do you think that it was a good decision, actually, to split off with him? And
Well,
I
I
don't.
mean,
Hmm?
I mean, there was no way it was gonna work out, so it was just a matter of time. What I regret is the way that happened
Oh, okay.
because if I, yeah, if I would have like, it's almost like a chess game where I can think about like if I would have made this move here or I would have made this move here, then I could have won. It's like I could see so many ways where we could have got the same result, but without him making that video and hurting my reputation.
Right, right. Yeah.
And then we could have actually like been collaborative. Like we could have actually like it could have been like Migaku and Refold and we like support each other, you know?
That would be cool, actually. Yeah. I mean, despite being like separate companies, but still working together would be
Well, because
cool.
I mean it's like we don't have to do the same thing, right? It could be like a Refold focuses on um
Methodology.
the methodology and they focus on
Mikaku's
the
like,
tools. Like
yeah, true. So like,
and so
no.
I still hope that one that I mean I think it's too soon because I think Yoga is still like too emotional about it. But I hope that like one day, maybe in a year from now, I can like reach out to him and we can both say sorry and like get over it. Like
Oh,
that
that'd be
is my hope.
nice. Well, personally, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, also, I just really would like him to remove that video. Like to be honest, that's the biggest thing
Mm,
because that's like the most awful piece of content about me on the internet, and it has a lot of views.
right, right.
So more than anything, I just want him to remove the video. But also, I just like for my conscience would be feel a lot clearer if we like worked that out. Like it just doesn't feel good to like have enemies on the internet. You know.
True,
To know that
true.
there's people out there who like want to get you, it just like is like makes it, it's like hard to sleep at night basically.
Yeah. I guess that goes also with the Anna Crayon video. I think was it?
Yeah. I mean that one's less of an issue than the yoga one just because it has fewer views,
Mm.
but yeah, still it's just like because from the internet is so permanent, so that's like the idea that it's like, oh, this video will be there forever. Like my kids could like search
Okay.
this up and find all this stupid stuff that I've done and they'll respect me less. Like that is what like tortures me the most basically.
Oh, true. Wait, did you ever put out like a clarification statement against the Mikaku video, the one that
Yeah, I
made?
did,
Oh yeah.
but I took it down because like basically right now like my channel is way bigger than his channel.
Mm.
So if
There's
I
no
kept
point.
my what's that?
No, sorry. Like, was there like no point in like actually putting it out? Just like it would be better to
No,
like
no, no.
not.
I had to put it out
Yeah.
because if I would have said nothing, people would have just assumed that the accusations were
Oh,
true.
yeah.
So I put it out, and actually, it had 30,000 views at the time that
Mm.
I privated it. But the reason I privated it is because right now, like there's like for example, let's say that video came out on Shama's channel. It has 200,000 views. A lot of people probably learned about me for the first time from that video.
Right.
A lot of them probably went to my channel and checked it out. If that video saying like responding to Yoga's accusations, if that video is there, they're going to be like, "Oh, what accusations?" And they're going to click
Oh.
on it, and then they're going to find out about Yoga's video. Whereas if when that video is not there, they're never even going to hear about it. So it's in my best interest to like not have that video up because most people don't know about it, and I don't, and if they don't know about it, I don't want them to know about it. You know?
True, true, true. But like honestly, do you think that Migaku, I mean compared to Refold, uh, would actually progress? Because I see like Refold as being a big community, but I can't really see Migaku as being a community rather than
Well,
like a tool product thing.
well, I think the biggest problem is that Yoga doesn't know how to run a company,
Okay.
and because I don't know how to run a company either.
Oh, but you
But
have,
Ethan,
yeah.
yeah, Ethan does know how to run a company. Ethan, he worked in the startup world for like 10 years, and he grew this one startup to be really big. So
Mm.
he has a lot of direct experience running a company. That's his area of expertise. And so working with Ethan is versus working with Yoga is like night and day difference. Like in hindsight, we had no idea what we were doing, and we wasted a ton of time just like arguing about dumb stuff, and
Oh.
all our intuitions about like where to put our energy into were totally wrong. And so I know that Yoga doesn't know how to run. Yoga doesn't know how to run a company, and I don't think he even knows that he doesn't know how to run a company. And
Okay.
also, he's just very bad at handling people. Like he gets pissed off really easily, and he like gets annoyed when people like when he feels like people don't understand him, and he's like a nightmare to work with. So I think that's the biggest reason that they're probably not going to be able to grow very big is because he doesn't know how to handle people and how to grow a company, and he's not going to be humble enough to like hire somebody who does know how to do that, I don't think.
Oh wow. So I guess good for you then in that case, or bad for him. So
Yeah, I mean, I got lucky cuz like I got lucky that I found Ethan cuz he's like pretty ideal partner
nice, nice. Was he
for
like
this stuff.
before like working with other companies? Like he has like a ton of experience in that case.
I mean, yeah, he was like, well, he worked on one company for a long time, and then he like left the company, and he wanted to start his own company, and he was just getting started, and he was learning Spanish, so he was like in the MIA community just because he
Oh,
wanted to learn Spanish, and so then when I was going to start Refold, we ended up talking because he wanted to start his own company anyway, and he like is really passionate about language learning, and he tried to learn Spanish for like many years with traditional methods and like got nowhere. And he even went and like lived in like South America for a period of time and got nowhere. And then when he found Refold, or then when he found MIA at the time and like learned about immersion learning, then it actually like worked for him. So for him, he's like very passionate. He like feels like he wasted all these years because no one told him about immersion learning, and he wants to save other people all that time.
right.
So he was then he wasn't originally going to start a language learning company. He was going to start like a kind of like a like personal coaching company that would like help people with productivity.
Mm.
But when the opportunity kind of came, then he decided to work on Refold, I guess.
True, true, true. Oh, that's so nice to have, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for me, that's why I'm like mostly just focusing on the like content and my YouTube channel,
Mm.
and it's really nice because I don't like for me, I'm not really interested in running a company. I thought I was at one point, but just my personality, I'd rather like focus a lot on one thing than like when you're running a company, it's mostly like you're like overseeing everything, and you're not really doing that much yourself. You're mostly like keeping track of who's doing what and like delegating things and like making sure everything's happening. So it's not really like my personality type.
Right. So you've always been there for the content, right? So like as long as you're self-sufficient, then like it's totally fine, right?
What do you mean by self-sufficient?
I mean like financially, because like a lot of people, like I said before, that they're thinking that you're selling out because like you're greedy as yoga would be, or like Kazumoto, because like those are the only kind of frame of references we really have. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, like I said, well, actually, so Ethan is planning on reinvesting almost all the money Refold makes back into Refold for the next like 5 years at least.
Oh,
So, so Ethan and my salary, they're already like capped. Like we already know how much we're going to make, and we're not going to make more than that, even if Refold makes more money. So, yeah, basically that's like that, and that's already like been determined. So,
wow. That adds so much more perspective, actually.
yeah, it's so interesting because I never like telling you this. I'm realizing, oh yeah, no one in the community knows this, huh? But I guess we never really thought to explain it. I'll ask Ethan what he thinks about telling people about it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason why he would say it's not a good idea. I don't know.
Mm. I mean, I don't know. Like for me, at least, it adds so much more, I guess, character to you, as just like a public figure. Because like when you think about it, it's just like Patreon, money, support. So, like how much is actually going into like the product we don't know, and then like when you say that, oh, we're gonna reinvest everything besides from like just the cap that I would need as in like a normal wage, then okay, yeah, that's so much more, context to the whole
Yeah, well, I guess
business.
we tell a lot more to like the Refold patrons because they're like
Mm.
supporting. So like once a month there's a live stream, and Ethan does a presentation every live stream about like what we've done in the
Oh,
past month and what we're gonna do in the next month.
okay.
But I guess like I think you have to be a $10 patron to see that. So most people don't see it. So
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would give so much more if I were to know that, but I don't think, you would want that to be leaked to like $1 patrons or like the non-patrons.
well, I don't know. Well, it's a good point because if more perhaps um
Hmm?
perhaps more people would support if they knew where the money was going to go. So maybe it's something to think about.
Right, right.
Yeah, but anyway, that looks like someone just called you.
Right, just got a call. I mean, it's fine to be honest. I'm also probably holding you up if you have something to do. I mean, it's a holiday
Oh,
for
I
everyone.
mean, well, probably just gonna go call my girlfriend and talk for a
Oh,
couple hours and go to bed.
nice,
It's
nice.
already 9 o'clock where I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's
9
been
p.m.
really fun actually. I mean, besides the interview, like just talking with you and like seeing you as a person, I think it's really nice.
Yeah, yeah. I always also appreciate people in the people like yourself who they understand the community that always hates on me,
Mm.
but they're not actually like fully a part of it. Because it always I always find it very useful to learn about the psychology of it, because sometimes when I see it, it just feels like I'm getting attacked, and it just really sucks. But when you understand the culture of it more, then I can, it's easier to kind of like when you understand why it's happening and where they're coming from, then it doesn't feel quite as bad in a way.
Right. I mean, if you wanted to know like the perspective of the people like in the community, I think you would fit in DJTV too, but I can't say for sure to be honest. I mean,
How
have you?
how many people are in there?
Wait, there's like 20-ish, 30-ish. Some are Japanese, some are like kind of semi-big names in the DJT community. There's Stone there if you want to talk with him. Have
That's
you
so
ever?
funny that Quizmaster is in there. In my mind, Quizmaster was like the head of the PJT community.
I mean, like of like the DJT community, yes, but I think a lot of people have kind of separated with that culture. I mean, it's just like a group of like really close friends, I would say, and we just like play like Among Us together. I think that's really fun, and we also sometimes have like video calls. So like yesterday we were chatting. I was talking with like Stone and HMCL. I think you know him.
Hmm. A
Yeah,
little bit. I mean, I know
yeah,
of him mostly.
yeah, and like we're just having fun talking about like real life and like how to get girlfriends and stuff like that. Just and sometimes we also talk about Japanese, and I think having those more intensive conversations, because like I talk with like Thry and Sam a lot about taking the Kanken, and I think just having like people of kind of similar level, well, some of like definitely like Dai Senpai level, like Ham Slice, but just having people with closer levels makes it so much more
Yeah,
engaging
yeah.
to talk.
I guess I mean I would definitely be potentially. I mean, first of all, I don't know if they would want me, and I would totally understand if they didn't.
Okay.
Um, and then I guess for me the other thing is like I would just have to know that like they're not going to use anything that I shared with them against me,
Oh,
basically, you know.
I mean, like we could
Like
have
they're not gonna like secretly record me and then that
yeah.
gets leaked or something like that.
Oh. I mean, like when we do the video calls, sometimes people get drunk, right? And they do this really weird shit. Like some of them, I don't want to go into the details, but like it's very embarrassing. But I think like most people, they have this tacit agreement that okay, we're not gonna record, or even if we do
Yeah,
record, it's for
yeah,
the lols, it's for the memes. Like when we look back like 5 years, oh, you did it, like you went naked like while drinking or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. I mean, besides that, I don't think people have that like hatred towards each other because like we've seen each other like our faces, we've talked, and so. I think
Yeah, I
that
definitely think yeah. Once you seeing someone's face, that definitely like builds a level of trust that is hard to get
right,
otherwise.
right.
Okay, well you can maybe you can like toss the idea out there and see how they respond to it.
True, true. Yeah, I can maybe like talk, ask them, would they want you in?
Yeah, yeah, and then let me know what they say. Like I said, I would totally understand if they didn't. It's because like because of who I am in the community and like all the baggage. But
Mm.
but
I
you
didn't.
can you can
Yeah.
tell them like what like if you think oh maybe it would actually be a good fit or something. You can
Right.
ask them what they think.
I mean, I don't know how impressed you would be of them, but I did ask, and they said, sure, yeah, I'd love to play Among Us with Matt, which is like the first response I got. So
Oh, like just now.
yeah, I just chatted into the general chat. Like, yeah, sure, let's play Among Us, because like we were actually planning to play Among Us, uh, but like, I mean, they're playing. I'm not because I had an interview now, but I'll probably play later. So.
Okay, well you can invite me if you want.
Sure, sure, sure. I mean, I don't know about now though, because they're still in game. But you would like to
Yeah,
play?
maybe you can. Yeah, it doesn't, it doesn't have to be now. You could. Well, yeah, you should probably like actually talk to them once and
Sure, sure.
first
Yeah,
and see.
I'll talk with maybe some of the
But you can give them
senpais.
the context that you talked to me and stuff.
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah, I'll just say I had an interview with Matt. He was a really good guy, and you guys should like know this. I mean, I don't know if you want like people to know your story, the context behind everything, so it has like a clearer picture, or just want do it yourself with your own statements. I don't know.
I mean, well, like I said, the biggest thing is like the only thing I'm concerned about is that like I kind of told you how like it kind of does suck that people like you know like are always like watching me and making memes of me and like
Right,
and stuff like that, like
right.
trying to look for stuff that they can use against me. I'm only worried that if general DJT community knew that it bothered me, that would like just put fuel to the fire,
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
So that's the only concern. Like if you think, oh, these guys I can trust enough to the point where that wouldn't happen,
Mm.
then it's totally fine, you know.
True, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have to ask the admin anyway. He's not online now, but sure, I'll definitely talk about that. I think it'd be really cool if you could join us in some, games or just have fun.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool if I could. Like I said, I always thought it'd be nice to be in Japanese learning community. Just been hard for all those reasons. So
Yeah, man. I mean, it has been amazing. I mean, it opened my mind a lot about you as a person, also as a public figure, and just like, yeah,
thanks. I wish I could open everyone's mind like that.
yeah. If only like people actually knew about the whole big dream for like immersion learning and Refold. I think that would be just amazing.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely will talk to Ethan about potentially like sharing that with the community, because it is kind of like, yeah, it's almost like I didn't even realize that we hadn't. So it kind of feels like, oh yeah, we probably should, because that would probably like get a lot of people excited to have that vision, to know what the vision is.
Yeah, epic.
And I guess we have shared it with the patrons. I guess the problem is like
Are the patrons
the
very
patrons
influential?
are they're already the people who are
Oh.
totally on board, so it's like doesn't really it's like a waste to only tell them. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I should probably get going for today, but yeah,
true.
well, let's stay in touch.
Sure. Love it, man.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, talk to you
yeah.
soon, man.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, and send me the files when you have a chance.
Oh, sure. Should I go on like Google Drive or something like? Do you have,
Anything
like...
anything works. Google Drive works.
Okay, sure. I'll send you the files. Cool. Epic, man.